It needs each other. So
yeah,
awareness and the material world.
yeah, they need each other, and they are one. So separate. That's that's what we talk about. It separate, they don't exist.
Yeah. Yeah. There's another dogma from the Advaita world. I'm curious about how you feel and think about it. That's the concept of free will, but more so, let's say that everything that happened until now, from the moment I was conceived by my father and mother, until the moment that I'm sitting in Zwolle right now, in this position, on this chair with you, could this have been otherwise? Or is it exactly how it had to go?
Both are true.
Yeah, it could have been otherwise.
Yes, of course.
But how then? How? What should have? But let's specific.
That's the mystery of life.
Yeah.
So the totality
Yeah.
of everything. It's always in the now, but the whole past is also in the now.
Mm-hmm.
So this totality makes that you are sitting there.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm sitting
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
and we are talking about it.
Yeah.
So, so
Is it all coincidence then?
no, it's not coincidence. No. It's
Predestined? Is it, or is it just a flux of life reacting? And what they say when a butterfly flaps with its wings in China, it could have easily transformed into a thunderstorm in America. Are things really that connected?
Yeah, everything is total connected. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that you can see ahead what is going to happen.
Yeah.
But what I find interesting and important is that you get a feeling of the how do you call that in English? The
Perfection?
yeah, but perfection is a good word. Yeah, that everything what is real and happening now is perfect. And you can go to that realization at the first place. The first step is being still aware of what is, and then in Advaita they have beautiful words, beautiful pointings. They say what you are is being, knowing, bliss.
Satchitananda.
Yeah. Being is the stillness. You fall in stillness, in silence, and you are aware of being.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first step. The second step is knowing. Sometimes it's translated as consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
but knowing is a much more beautiful word for it, much more correct what is really happening. Knowing, awareness is almost the same. Perhaps it is the same. You know when you are when you realize being, stillness, you know what is true and what is not true.
Yeah.
Only believing your thoughts is the untrue side of it.
Hmm. Yeah.
The rest, all is true. And then, when you have the certainty of knowing, there is bliss. And bliss doesn't mean you have to be very joyous or
happy,
ecstatic.
Mm-hmm.
Bliss is a word for being at ease. See the beauty of everything. Feeling free. Happy, joyous, creative, clear.
Yeah, spontaneous. You sometimes
creative.
Yeah.
This is all, and we have in the Dzogchen. There's a great deal of the teaching is about that.
Yeah.
Dzogchen means the great perfection. So it's a teaching about this bliss. So we don't call it bliss.
No.
We see that it is everything what you can imagine that is positive and feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
That's a part of your realization of knowing.
Being knowing.
Yeah,
Bliss.
being knowing.
Yeah.
And the bliss part happens spontaneously. That's a result.
Yeah.
You don't have to do special things for that. It's automatically given when you are still and you have that knowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Dutch, you sometimes call it undestroyable contentment.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you mean by that bliss? That satisfied, that cannot be destroyed or doesn't need anything to be satisfied. It's just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being is enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Undestroyable content. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean you sometimes are nervous or have stress.
Mm-hmm.
That's something different, because when you see the being, when you are still, when you are feeling uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
when you are still and you are knowing the reality of your feelings,
Mm-hmm.
and the unreality of your thoughts about it,
Mm-hmm.
then the bliss part takes over.
Mm.
So you can be even in great pain and at the same time be undestroyable content.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could be in an accident or
Traffic jam.
even dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sometimes see that with people who have surrendered to the knowing that they are going to die. There's total contentment and there's total peace and they're at ease and they transmit a kind of vibe that says everything is okay.
Yeah, everything is okay. Yeah. And how do you know that? I most of the time, this is my second question. Be still, and you know it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And still,
Go to the most terrible place in your past. From a silent place, you look back
mm-hmm.
and you find it was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean, which some...
That's conscious therapy. Yeah.
Yeah, great. But that doesn't mean that what some people think about Advaita, some protesters say, well, but Michiel, when your house is on fire, you're not going to sit there and everything is okay. You're going to act and react and going to jump out the window or grab your family and get the hell out of here. That's not, it's not about doing nothing. Right? No. It's about being inside still and then acting.
Yeah. Your acting get liberated.
Yeah.
When you are confused, lost in your thoughts, stressful thoughts, you it's paralyzed. Good word. You
get paralyzed.
You get stuck. Stuck in. You can't act properly.
Yeah. We have about 5 more minutes. Can you tell us something about where can people find your book? I imagine that it's going to be ready in a couple of months, or are you still working on it for half a year?
Yeah, it's half a year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Are there any books or teachers you are very enthusiastic about at this moment, except for your own book and teachings?
Yeah, I think Byron Katie, my teacher. I hear every time a lot of people are dismissing the value, are underestimating her teaching because they think it's a method. It's just a method. It has nothing to do with self-realization.
Yeah.
But it is I think the most powerful realization you can get to see the unreality of your thoughts.
Yeah.
And the teaching of Byron Katie is profound in that.
Yeah, the work we are talking about, the 4 questions.
Yeah.
And Eckhart Tolle, do you still follow him, watch him?
No, not anymore. But it's a perfect teacher to see the simpleness, without the doctrine of an old religion.
Yeah.
So it's a very good start, I would say.
Yeah. The power of now.
The power of now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his videos. Yeah.
And you mean his satsang videos or the videos he does with reacts to people and gives his answers to questions?
Yeah, both. Yeah. And then you find on YouTube
a lot. Yeah.
A lot. But a lot more if you are going to his website and you have to pay a little bit about it.
Yeah.
And then you get every month 2 hours of teaching from Eckhart Tolle.
And Osho, have you ever been into his teaching?
I've read a lot about Osho, his books, I mean, before I have my awakening.
Yeah.
After that, not anymore. Our characters are a little bit different.
Yeah.
I am more what you say?
Laid back. Yeah. And final question. What I find so interesting about you, that you have this awakening, it still deepens and deepens, and you are still interested in watching these kind of videos, listening to tapes. Some teachers say, well, I don't need that anymore. I've seen it. Throw away my books. I don't watch YouTube anymore. What's the difference for you?
Yeah. Yeah. The difference is I like to learn all the different languages, language wherein you can express the truth.
Yeah.
So it helps me to, it's a very complicated world, the world of teaching. It's a great distraction, teachings. It's a very, very great distractions. Don't go there, I almost say.
Yeah.
Because the realization inside is much more simple.
Than watching these kind of things.
Be still, and that's it. That is it.
Yeah.
That's it. And then they got I follow many teachers in the way they are expressing this simple thing, and they talk all in a different way about it, and then I find that interesting. I want to learn all that way of expressing. It makes me perhaps a better teacher, because the transmission can go to, am I still? What is happening now? That's it, more is not needed. But then we talk about it.
Yeah. You also give satsang?
I give satsang, in
Dutch?
In Dutch, yeah. And sometimes I make a video in English also.
Yeah.
But that's just the beginning of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Michiel.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for this nice talk.
Thank you too.
Yeah. And we will find you on YouTube and your website michielslechten.nl.
.nl, yes. Yeah.
So, hello girls. You look so spiritual in the grass.
We are.
For the viewers, this is Annemieka's garden. But actually you don't own it, right?
It's true, yeah.
Whose garden is it?
Nobody owns it.
So I can take it now.
You can take it, yeah. You have to ask serious questions, well, otherwise nothing comes out.
Now I know. I know you by now. So, I just talked with DJ, and he said you and he are like the leaders of the non-dual meetup group.
In Oroville, yeah, the organizers, facilitators, I wouldn't say leaders, but we kind of initiated it and kind of put the setting in place. People come and yeah, it's nice.
Oh, and most people here in Oroville, they are busy with Sri Aurobindo and the mother.
Yeah.
How do they react to your non-dual meetup group?
Well, it's nothing against any religion, because it's just seeing things without any filters, uncluttered. So it's not against Sri Aurobindo and the mother's teaching at all, because it's just part of existence. It's the way existence functions.
Yeah.
It's the way life is. And if you go into the teachings of Sri Aurobindo and the mother, there is non-duality present.
Yeah.
It's just there because.
So true.
Yeah.
And during the meetings, what is the most frequently asked question from people who participate?
Oh shit! Now I have to think.
Yeah.
They all want to know what to do. What is it that you can do to reach the goal? And the goal is enlightenment or awakening.
And Lisa, what should people do?
Whatever they do.
Look, back to Anamika. But it's so hard for people to not to do something.
You can only point to the fact that there is nobody doing anything. There is no doership.
Yeah.
And that is too abstract for the person who thinks he wants to reach somewhere. So it's the contracted individual who wants to get somewhere and reach a goal, which is impossible.
So this is the toughest philosophy for an individual, you think?
What do you think?
For the individual, but it seems there's some body-mind mechanisms that are programmed to be interested in it, even though it's impossible for that individual to hear.
Yeah.
Are drawn towards it. A bit like the mosquito to the, those, or the flies to those fires. Have you ever seen them?
Yeah.
Where they
Fireflies.
No, they're flies, and then humans put down these machines which the flies are attracted to, and then they go, they die when they touch it.
But it's the same as they go to the light bulb, and they're all stuck to it, right?
Yeah. Similar to that. But
Las Vegas is one mosquito light bulb attraction place.
But this one they properly set on fire. They go to it, they're attracted to it, and then it's a bit like.
Oh, really?
You've never seen them before?
No. It's a nice metaphor for enlightenment.
Yeah, it is.
To burn. So why do people seek enlightenment?
Well, they are attracted for. They don't really know. It just happens. So at one point, this message resonates, and they have no choice. They just go after it.
Yeah.
Want to read more, hear more, maybe because of suffering, or maybe because an idea of happiness somewhere, eternal bliss.
But then, can there be bliss without the opposite?
Well, there is an emptiness which is not empty, where the opposites kind of fall away. Not that they don't exist, but they are not, how would you say that? It's kind of immaculate, no? This emptiness cannot be touched. So good and bad happens, but that is undisturbed, unmoved.
Is that why you call it the emptiness, Lisa?
Yeah, I love that word actually. Not many people speak too much of emptiness because it sounds quite negative. But yeah.
Well, it's actually the base of everything.
The emptiness thing.
And you know, it's so beautiful because emptiness just accepts everything as it is.
Yeah.
Just as it is, accepts everything.
But for some people this might sound so nihilistic.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, emptiness is quite a strong word, but I love it, emptiness.
So in a way, I guess people are looking for this emptiness because then the suffering also falls away.
But we're
because
looking.
the opposites are gone, and then
Yeah.
my suffering will have to get better.
And people, I asked this question also to DJ. I'm not going to tell you his answer. If you look at the Indian culture, you think Indian people are less identified than we are in the West?
I think in the village where people grow up in maybe big families and in circumstances which are not very comfortable, you know, it's financially maybe very tight. I don't think that they are very conditioned when they grow up because there is not much scope for choice. They cannot choose if they want this to eat or that. I don't like this because no, they just have to eat what's there. So the idea of choice is not much there. and they just have to go with the flow of life. Whatever presents itself happens to be there.
That's what you said this afternoon, Lisa. If they can't compare, then there's just what is.
Yeah.
So is television the most dangerous thing?
Well, I don't know. But it does seem that if you don't have that possibility to compare and think this life of a Western life would be so much better if they've not been growing up with that TV, then they're not going to have that imagining of better so much.
Yeah.
Whereas in the West, where we've got a good lifestyle, we have an imagining of even better, of really rich, super rich, where you have people that serve you and big cars, and so there's this imagining of even better, even though the life is comfortable as it is.
Yeah. And it seems no matter how much we buy and get and achieve, it doesn't seem to make us that much happier in the West.
No, I think in the West also the culture has been so brainwashed with the idea that what is here right now is not good enough.
Yeah.
Because it always has to be more beautiful, more comfortable. It's always moving towards wanting things to be better, so what's here right now is not good enough. And if you grow up in a small village in India with not much choice, you just see how things are, and then...
Yeah. It's also, I was asking Devi Bala, she was the manager of the orphanage, and I was asking her, so are you happy? And she looked at me like, that's a silly question. Of course I'm happy. So, but in the West, especially when I coach people one-on-one, they're constantly, every day they're busy, do I feel good? Am I happy enough? Isn't that right?
Yeah.
I think they also, maybe they come to your talks to feel more happy about their life, you think?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, what do you offer them, Lisa?
Fuck all. But it's terrible because the poor Western people are so much continuously looking at their states, what you feel, what your state is, and imagining better. So constantly inward looking, how do I feel, what do I feel, name your emotions, like improve your emotions, and again, it's this world of comparison. I would prefer not to feel like this, I would like to feel like that, and it's impossible. Life can only ever be as it is and what's happening.
So when you look at spirituality, when I see the businessmen, they take their thoughts completely serious,
Yeah.
and then you get spirituality and suddenly your feelings.
Yeah.
It's the same joke, isn't it?
Yeah, like in the pottery we have a manager, he's called Krishnamurti, just by chance. And he works for us since 20 years, and in 20 years I've not seen him angry or irritated. He's always just there, doing the things which need to be done with dedication. It's amazing, but if you say something about it, he wouldn't know what is so special about it, because he has not learned to reflect.
Yeah.
How do I feel? What do I need? What do I think? He's just there in the flow of life, and it's quite amazing.
It's also with Logu, our taxi driver. It seems he's not asking himself the question, is this my life? Is this really what I want? Driving a taxi every day to serve my family. He just drives taxi.
Yeah. And he supports like 8 people on his wage. Hang on.
8.
So his 2 children, his wife, his mum and dad, and his granddad. 6. So and himself 7. 7 bodies. And some cats, I think, as well.
And the idea of what poverty is has really changed within me. And how did it with you when you first came to India?
At first, I kept thinking, oh, that's really poor. And then I saw poorer and was like, okay, so that's not so poor. And then I saw poorer. And I realised that maybe I would never get to a line of poverty. So at first I thought that maybe people living in slums was really poor. Then I saw people living in like tents, you know, like on the roadside with those things, and I was like, okay, that's really poor. Then I saw people having like a little area on the side of the pavement. I was like, okay, that's really poor. Then I saw people living in the garbage, and I was like, oh, that's really poor. And I kept going down and down and down. I think the garbage is the lowest they've seen so far.
They lived like monkeys, you said.
Yeah, in the garbage, picking through.
Yeah. But when we were visiting Logu in his house, it's amazing that in 2 years my whole conditioning about poverty has changed. We came in and you were saying, well, they got, how do you call it on the streets? Cement? Pavement. You said, oh, a luxurious village with pavement. And we came in his house, and of course they just sleep on the floor.
Just one room for the family.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
For India. I was like, when you compare it to the West, obviously it's not so good. But in that life, like when I first come to India, I'd have thought that was poor, but that's not poor.
And
they're doing well.
Do you think these people are less or more happy than we are?
More happier than Westerners.
Because?
Because they don't have the constant reflecting on what they're feeling and what they would like, and they're not imagining better. There's just action happening. There might be a bit of imagining going on, but no way like Westerners. They're not sitting there dreaming about a bigger house. A bit, there's a working towards it, but not much. It's like eating thali.
Yeah.
So, actually, these body-mind mechanisms have more surrender to life than we have in the West.
Yeah, and that's the really funny bit in the West. They got so much more. We thought that life would be better with so much more, but then we started contemplating better too much. We started contemplating the idea of growth too much, and who we were and what was important for us and what we need. We became the center of the world.
Yeah. Because I found it amazing. We were in this rural village. That this lady, she stood up and she just said, we worked 14 hours. I forgot what she...
We had no toilet.
Oh yeah.
So we have to go out in the forest like this. And we have no toilets, and our husbands drink too much alcohol.
Oh yeah.
But we're happy.
When we are sad, we are sad.
And then after that she went, and when we're sad, we're sad. And when we're happy, we're happy. It was very cute.
And we were like, oh, that's it.
And the idea of the divine or maybe consciousness is so close to them that when you just say to people, a ton of people around you, for instance, Yalla Avan Seidan, which means this is all God's work, or Yalla Me Kareva, means everything is the divine.
Yeah.
They immediately know what you mean, and they open up and they smile because they feel it's like that. Divine is everywhere and it's so close. It's beautiful.
Hello, Lee. How do I pronounce your last name in English?
My last name, Hogenberg.
Yeah, Hogenberg.
Hogenberg.
Hogen Mountain.
Hogenberg in English, I guess.
In English.
Yeah. It's so funny because I hardly ever remember people saying my last name in English.
Yeah, because you lived in Portugal for 10 years?
Nearly 10 years.
Oh, and we just had a conversation. You said we were already actually living like in the moment. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah. Well, the beauty of this adventure going to Portugal was also because in those days, it's about 13 years ago now, I didn't really feel very at home in Holland. Mm-hmm. So I felt like, didn't feel like I could ground here. And so I thought, my friends were already living there, two of my friends. So I thought, oh, okay, let's join them. And I didn't really have any plans. And that was also not really, my life was never really much like very much one direction. Okay, this is what I want in my life. I was searching, I was going places, I was traveling. But anyway, then I decided, okay, no, I'm not going to travel, but I'm going to live in another country, Portugal. And then from there, things were just, appearing. Like I had a little bit of money to be able to start. And in those days, I was recently did a study in traditional Thai massage, which I practiced in Thailand. So then I had the idea, maybe I will go to the beach and I will give massage there.
And it worked?
No, because we didn't live near the beach, so I had to travel like 4 hours or so, and then a bit complicated. And I liked very much to stay in that place, which was very green, and we had our own water, our source.
Okay.
So it was, and then it was just like a little paradise in the middle of nowhere, actually.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And it was really like living day by day.
Yeah, because we were what was connecting us and is connecting us is like the childlike wonder.
Yeah.
And that we all it's all there, and it's not wanting to make something more out of it.
Yeah. So there's actually like you're at ease with what is every day. At least you were in Portugal.
Yeah.
Because in Holland, you see everyone is like already busy when I will retire and what will be my future in the next 10 years.
Yeah. Well, exactly. So I was not busy with the future in that sense. Maybe planning, because I did all kind of projects. Because I needed to make some income, and we were like pioneering there.
Yeah.
So I even was inventive to start to sell poffertjes on the streets.
Really? That's so funny.
and I had this cast iron, the old one, the old-fashioned one. And I built my own stand out of fabric and a table, and all very creative. And then I asked a friend in Holland or family, can you please send me not the cast iron one, but the one that is much cheaper from the Hema that is non-sticky. I don't know the
word.
So, and then they sent it to me, and then I asked permission to go to fairs and everything, and to be able to sell these poffertjes, these little pancakes. And so all these kind of things, well, I was just doing it, and it was giving a little bit of income, but mainly it was all discovering. And then after a while there came something else, and then I met some other people, and then I met my boyfriend, and then we started a restaurant, Yeah. Oh, and all of a sudden we were starting a restaurant, and
So life was busy while you were making other plans. Well, you weren't even making plans.
No.
It was just unfolding itself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And how did you start your spiritual journey? Or you never started it, actually?
I don't know. It was like this. When I was a child, my mom was starting her spiritual journey. And I was, I guess, 9 or something, 10, between 9 and 15, 16, that she was very busy with it. And, because of her, I got all this kind of information or ideas, and especially a lot of quotes that suddenly appeared in the toilet.
Oh yeah, just like in your toilet.
That's true. Yeah. I copied her now, but now it's not a problem for me anymore. But in those days, then there was something on the toilet wall, and it said, it's not the neighbor's fault. Don't point at the neighbors, point at yourself, or something like that. And then, but the thing was that she was not able to do it herself, because she was all the time pointing. So she was actually putting probably it there as a reminder to herself that she shouldn't point all the time at others or at my father, you know, like that.
Yeah.
So, and I felt, yeah, this is not right. So I didn't for a very long time, and also when I was 16, I met my first true love.
Yeah.
And then
your first true love.
Yeah.
Funny, and my second true love.
No, yeah. Anyway, it was my big love.
Yeah.
And then my whole life went upside down, and then also, that was for me a chance to break loose of everything, and also this idea of spirituality, because in a sense I felt that there was some. I understood because there was suffering, and she suffered, and she was looking therefore in other ways. So there was a search, and I always, even before my first relationship, I was always very reflective. I became very reflective. Okay. So I wrote poetry. And it was all, and I was also suffering. I also had pain because of the situations, and because of not understanding why is it like this and all that. So, but then I didn't start to look for spirituality in that sense. Okay. It's just that I met, and that's why I said my first love, because that was an important person in my life to give me really self recognition, and also trying to understand how things are functioning psychologically wise. Yeah. So I started to understand more about my frustrations and emotions because of that, and things started to fall in place, and I understood it, but also was many times unable to act upon it. Yeah. Because it was still very much in the middle of it. And then when you are in the middle of something, then it's very difficult to just let it be.
Yeah, you mostly get stuck in it a little, don't have an overview. And then you see that what people teach is actually what they have to learn themselves the most.
Yeah.
But did it start rationally at that point, and then became more part of your life automatically? How did things go?
I was very much wanting to be loved, and I guess that I was frustrated because I couldn't find it, even when I was loved in a relationship. Yeah. So that really brought me back to heartbroken feelings of losing everything. Yeah. And so after my first relationship, I was unable to have any other relationship for many years. Wow. Because I was just so lost. I was just completely lost. So then I started to, even didn't know what to study. Well, I could do many things, but I was not clear in my emotions or in my head. Yeah. You know, it was all mixed up. So in the end, I started to study fashion, and because I'm a very creative person, and I also wanted to go to the Academy for Art.
Kunstacademie.
Yeah, exactly.
It sounds really English. Yeah.
You understand. Yeah. But in the end, I did fashion, and it was very nice. And so, but in the process of discovering things, I was always in a way very reflective. Okay. Yeah, and trying to understand why are things happening the way they're happening, and also knowing that there were insights that I understood why they were happening, completely clear to me, and that's also why many people asked me to help them. Yeah. Because I could see it very clear, but then I felt also awkward sometimes because I knew that I was not practicing exactly like my mom.
Okay.
Exactly like the example that I had in this pattern. So then sometimes I also felt, this is, maybe, but on the other hand, people like to have
you can even help people with that, even though it's not fully integrated in your life, of course.
Yeah.
And when you came across non-duality, I heard in the previous interview, it wasn't much of a surprise for you. How did it feel?
It was. There was just recognition, only recognition, in the sense of, okay, so this is what they mean. This is what they mean by the word non-duality describes what my life, what this is about, what my life is, what the way I am experiencing it. And I just never heard the word, even though I've also seen the movie, the Mahabharata, because I like the mystics. I like mystic stories.
Yeah, beautiful.
Because they are like, they're speaking in metaphors, and it's beautiful. But I was never looking for a teacher who was mentally or rationally explaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because you are coaching people,
Mm-hmm.
and what are these coachings about? What do you point to?
Always do the same thing.
You always do the same thing.
Yeah, in
you have a list of rules, you say.
More or less, it's always more. No, there's just absolutely no rules.
Okay.
That's just a funny thing, and I just listen.
Yeah.
And it always comes to the essence of not needing to do something special.
Yeah.
Not needing to go and gather more information because everything is already there.
Yeah.
And not needing to improve things, but see what is already there.
Yeah.
That's in a way that's always what it comes to.
What's the biggest struggle for people in their lives?
To accept the way life is, as it is.
And it simply is as it is.
Yeah.
But I think we're mostly conditioned with ideas that this present moment is just not quite good enough. You always have to be in the next step.
Yeah.
And then people, they suffer. And then you say?
Yeah. Just let it be and experience what it does, what happens then.
Yeah.
Just to let it fall wherever it falls. And this is also because I can only speak from my own experience as well, and I think that's also the way this human expression functions.
Yeah.
Everybody makes experiences, and from these experiences, that's like your quadro, your frame that you relate to.
Absolutely.
And so, well, for me also, I lost many things, or I went through many processes of frustration and not finding, for example, to fill the emptiness, but the emptiness like a hole, you many times they feel the frustration and the powerful and the powerless feelings, and you can't feel it. It's like an ongoing thing, and that also I had to let it go.
Yeah.
And so from there I just gave into life, not knowing what comes next, and that gave in instant liberty.
Yeah.
It was scary. It was scary as hell, but it gave.
It's like you're driving in the car and suddenly you let go of the wheel.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my god, the car's still driving.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, exactly. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people, that's quite a tough thing. You're so conditioned with the idea that you are a separate person and that you have to control your life and make the right decisions and that you could have done things differently. How's your experience also with other people? Is this something you can just tell them, or is it something which is a long process for someone? What's your experience in this?
You mean with people in my own environment?
Yeah.
Well, there's not many people.
That's okay.
There's not many
just
people.
Just those two.
Yeah, I find the question a little bit hard because yeah.
You just have no friends. I have no friends.
I have nobody to play with. No, it's not like that. But well, the what I noticed, for example, I came back to Holland.
Yeah.
And I first I stayed with a friend for a couple of months, and then it was in an area of Holland, the polder, and it was good. But after a couple of months, I felt like, yeah, it's good to go to the west where things are happening.
Yeah, actually, things happen here in life.
So then I asked my parents if I could stay there for a couple of weeks because I thought I'm not going to stay very long.
Yeah.
And then that couple of weeks became months, and this couple of months became nearly 2 years. And in these 2 years, if you're asking about how is this in your environment, we didn't see each other for many years.
Yeah.
And our relationship was not bad, but it got another dimension by just being in the same house again.
Yeah.
The house where I grew up. And I also was there like, okay, well, let's see what happens, you know? I was not there to say like, you should do it like this. All these things were not for me. I was just feeling like, no, I'm open to meet and get to know each other, like humans, like persons, not like just parents and child relationship. And that was very interesting, and I know that for the three of us, it all was very, very interesting, very, beautiful.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Because normally they say if you think you're enlightened, go and live with your parents.
Yeah.
And then we'll see.
Yeah.
If you freak out.
Of course, there were moments that were like clashing.
Yeah.
Because I was saying, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen next. Yeah, but when are you going? When will you have a house? And when are you? When do you have a job? And of course, I understand. And then I had to say, I'm really doing my best. But also, I trust. I feel so much trust in life. You know.
Yeah.
That was the beauty. Just. And if they would say, okay, you have to get out on the street, okay, then I'm sure that would happen something else.
Yeah.
Because that happened already when I left.
But this is the
Portugal.
deep trust that life is in a way carrying you instead of you are controlling life.
Yeah.
But that's like such a, let's say, surrender to really understand that this is just one energy in movement.
Yeah.
But you never found that quite scary?
Yeah, I did. Because the previous years in Portugal, it was not easy at all.
Okay.
I mean, it is a beautiful country, and we had a beautiful place where we could live. And we helped each other, and luckily we had each other, because therefore we carried each other in every way, actually, because just by helping physically, but also sometimes financially, we gave each other assignments, or He said, okay, well, I am a little bit better now, but you can help me with that. And then the other one was doing less. So, but many times it was very, very tight, and we had nearly no money.
Yeah.
And then we just had to, we always were inventive. What shall we do next? Oh, let's start a home restaurant. Let's go to the market and sell all the clothes that we have in our storage. Or I'm going to make jam out of the fruits from the neighbor land, So it was always and that was a beautiful way of just living. I mean, it was really not easy, but it was the flexibility that you have in that way of living is beautiful, and it's most near to living as a child.
Yeah.
Really. It was really like, and then we met people, and people came, and we were always like, oh yeah, welcome, This was like people also attracted to this, because it was like we were like a kind of a womb where everybody was welcome, and then we had abundance, even though we didn't have the material richness.
Yeah. And so you're saying just like a child. I think, isn't it so that we're longing as an adult for the freedom we had as a child?
Yeah, definitely.
So what's the difference between a child and an adult?
No difference. Just the body that is seems.
But it seems that the identification, the belief in the separation that you are someone, gets stronger the older you get.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible that the identification gets stronger, but also that's the interesting part that I also experienced was while staying with my parents. And I'm the youngest of 3, and my parents are, they are 80 in last year. They became 80. So, I could say, and in many years I said also about them, why don't you change? And what's wrong with you? And I had all these. I said, you should divorce and all these kind of things.
Yeah.
But then when I was staying with them and I was just there, open and also not expecting anything.
Yeah.
Because I was happy with whatever. Because I didn't have money, I was just happy with anything. So in that environment, everything came more gentle and soft in a way, and opening. And even while I was not saying, like I was already saying, you should do different. In this environment, energetically, things were how you say that, losweken. It was getting loose. It was getting, patterns were melting away.
Yeah.
It was just beautiful, and I was seeing, and I was just, and inside I thought, oh yeah, this is so,
really,
it's so great. It's so great.
Is it the dropping away of all these thoughts that things should be in a certain way, or that they should be different? Did they fade away, all those expectations?
You mean with them or with me?
With everything.
It can. It can just drop away. I mean, with the me, it happened.
Mm-hmm.
A moment, and I was staying with my parents. I was just there a couple of months, and I looked at my mom, and I see nothing.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I was just nothing to hold on to.
No.
It was just, and she energetically felt it. She was because she always could grab me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I know I can, influence you, or I know you, or whatever. And it was just like, what are you doing? What are you trying to do?
Yeah. But this is what you often hear. If someone sees through the illusion, then it's harder for other people to manipulate you, because they fire all kinds of judgments or ideas upon you, and you're like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you also have that with friends, for instance?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, also friends that, well, as I said, I don't have many friends, but the friends that I have, they are dear to me. Sometimes there's just fixed ideas based on patterns from the past.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, and when this happens, I just let it. I don't go defending myself about anything. I just let it. And then energetically it just happens. They start to behave different. That's actually what I noticed the strongest change happening around me.
Yeah, yeah.
That without wanting to change, and that was also something that I learned with my friends researching all the psychological patterns and emotional patterns, that I always heard the same thing, like you don't have to change, you can never change somebody else.
Yeah.
Change starts here, not there. But that was just theory.
Yeah, yeah.
That was knowledge, knowing of something. And that's why, no, I don't think that's why, but for me, knowing was never superior to anything other than experience.
Yeah.
For me, life is really like one big, amazing roller coaster of all kinds of experiences.
Yeah. It's as easy as that, actually.
Yeah.
But it's a Zen story that says once you see this, you drop down your dirty laundry for a while, and it's like, wow. But then after enlightenment, they say, you pick up the dirty laundry again and you walk on. So what they actually point at is that even though you see through the illusion and you know this is all one movement, one dance, it doesn't mean that all your psychological damages, your traumatic experiences, that they are gone. Did you experience that as well? That like certain conditioning still goes on?
I have really noticed that most of the conditioning, I mean, there is conditioning, of course. There's preferences, and there's
just like your cat here.
Exactly.
It's conditioned.
Yeah. And I love spicy food, and I
love
chocolate, and I like sunshine. Yeah, precies. So that I call that also conditioning.
Of course, yeah.
But conditioning in the sense of emotional damages or traumas.
Yeah.
What I do notice is that when I get in contact with people that are completely identified with their traumas, that my body, mainly my body, starts to resonate with it.
Wow. Yeah.
So then it starts to resonate, and then of course the body, there's the memory in the body. It's all energetically somewhere there, memory. It's just build up energy. So I can feel this, and then I feel, oh yeah, this is not mine. But I could get upset or angry or something that gets triggered.
Yeah.
But mostly it's I recognize very quickly that it's not mine. And so it doesn't mean that I'm only sweet and everything, but there is a certain balance that is very stable. But that's just with me. I know also other people that are very awakened in a way, and they don't have this at all. They are very chaotic or bad humor or frustrations.
And even people who have like can be so strongly identified with their own pain, their own traumas, that it's part of their identity. I don't know if you've experienced this in coaching, but sometimes if you take someone's trauma away, it's like, oh, wait a minute, because it's part of who I am.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
could be so strong.
Yeah, exactly. That, because if you take that away, you can't take it away anyway. But if somebody's pulling at it, or people can get really offensive, because this became a new kind of comfort zone. This became a new safety.
Yeah.
Being abused or being beaten or whatever trauma, that's the new shape in which love appears.
Yeah.
And then you cannot even say mistaken, but this is just what's your experience. So this is what you have identified with. And for me, for example, it was one of my patterns was that I was unable to started to enjoy certain things.
Yeah, can you give an example?
Well, I remember that in my first relationship, that my partner said, because he was very much joy of life and living, and then I was many times unaware that I was sabotaging.
Yeah.
I was
sabotaging.
Yeah.
I think it's just an English.
Yeah. Unconsciously, I was sabotaging the situation. So I forgot my money, my wallet, for example, when we were going to do something nice, so then I could feel a victim.
You bastard.
Yeah. Or I was just sitting. Yeah, just a little bit. I will just eat a little bit. And then he was like, oh, so like completely opposite.
Yeah.
And so it was, for example, things like that.
But it's also a way to get attention at that moment.
Yeah.
And when we get attention, we feel someone, and we feel that the emptiness is gone, and we feel complete again. Or you didn't even feel complete with that.
Nee, it was the pattern was negative attention.
Yeah, of course.
Negative attention is also attention, and then you get attention, but in a negative way, and that was a pattern with me that was very, very strong.
Okay.
Even in Portugal, where I was living a paradise-like kind of life, many people were saying, you have the greatest life. It was completely illusion, because many times I was sitting in my beautiful built little apartment, and I was feeling completely frustrated and unable to flow and be open as life was evolving. So that was also part of it.
Yeah, and the world's only in your head, so you can go to Hawaii.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you feel frustrated.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you are, is it?
Yeah, exactly.
And now, you still have is life still a roller coaster? It goes up and down, or a boring, smooth ride?
No, it's not. It's definitely something in between.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not like there's emotions like and something like that, and it's also absolutely not boring, because in the past, even when I had a beautiful life, I thought that I was boring.
Okay.
And I even said to my friends, don't you think that I'm boring? But it was just my perception of this frustrated and also stagnated energy, this cramp. It was very much cramp, also physically. So I guess that kind of energy you can perceive it as boring, because you experience it as stagnated. It's not flowing. But no, so I guess my life is very much like it has absolutely ups and downs.
Yeah, maybe we could see it like you can be in the roller coaster and totally panicking and screaming and being so tense, or you could just be in it and the ride still goes on, but you're just like, let's go with the flow.
Yeah.
But I think that mostly happens when you see, you don't steer the wheel in the roller coaster. We're like people, we think there's a steer in the roller coaster, and that we're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I guess that was happening with me too.
Yeah.
But maybe not so much, because my life was pretty... I always very much felt the victim in the traumas, in the patterns. It was just a pattern that I completely copied. So, no, actually no. I don't think that I ever felt that I was in control. Actually, I never experienced I was in control. I wanted to have control.
Yeah.
It was a contradictory. Yeah.
And are there any big challenges in your life at the moment? Don't start to cry.
A big challenge? No, I don't think so.
No?
No, I'm very much enjoying my life. I meet nice people, and recently I have had some interviews, and I'm doing very nice things. And I'm very much just letting my life organically happen as it happens.
Yeah.
And I also, apart from my personal website, I also started a project that's called freeflowing.org. And for now, what's it's about? It's exactly about this. It's about a free flowing constant of life.
Yeah.
And I want to inspire and invite people to connect with it.
But you're going to do talks, or you're already doing them?
Yeah, I do also talks.
Yeah.
But not yet very frequent. So sometimes.
You're so humble.
Humble. Yeah, but it's got nothing to do with humble.
It's just as it is.
I just don't know where it's going to go next.
No, okay.
Maybe in a month I will be very busy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. But as I also said to Patrick, I'm just open for any new projects and also working together. I would really like also to work together with other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, like creative, or all linked in this essence. Things that give another... I like dynamics.
Yeah.
Being in my own is also a nice dynamic, but dynamics in a sense
to
with
share.
others. Yeah.
And just to give you some promotion, what's your website?
My website is Lie Hogenberg, dus L-I-E.
It's impossible in English.
Yeah.
Lie Hogenberg.
Yeah, you have with a K.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you can mention it.
I'll put it next to the website. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thanks very much.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome.
Sitting here with Givanjali. We did a talk before in Dutch, and now we are talking in English. Do you often give talks in English all over the world?
Yes, I do speak English, even in Holland sometimes, because people come from France who speak English. And in France I speak English because I have a translator who translates to France also. And the United States, of course, English, and many times English.
Yeah.
Because most people speak English and not everyone speaks Dutch.
Is there a difference in maybe transmission or how the words are loaded between all the different languages?
Well, in France I tend to sing a lot.
Sing?
I'm raised with French chanson.
Yeah.
Oui, oui. So I make them laugh because I know all those chansons and more than they know. And the transmission is joy, in fact, in that sense, because it breaks open suddenly.
Yeah.
When I say something through using a text of Edith Piaf or Georges Brassens, that's funny.
Mm-hmm.
And Sometimes I feel like English, I can find words easier in English. I also see it when I translate articles from English to Dutch, that Dutch is to find a nuance in Dutch is for me is more difficult. But it must not be true, but it's my feeling.
Yeah. Johansley, can you tell us something about your journey through life? As a child, did you have a sense of, well, what everybody's telling me here, I don't know for sure if that's really the case?
Yeah. Well, that's it. Absolutely. I have always wondered as a child, as early as I can remember, where are we coming from? Where was I before I was born? What is infinity? How can I be? How do I define myself? Being defined a girl. What is girl about me? I can't find any gender. Now I can say in consciousness or in space, but at that time, of course, I did not define it like that. All these questions, like, how can I be a daughter? How can she be my mother and call me her daughter? How can someone possess me? All these things were just really, I was really considering that. And of course I didn't get the answers. I detected, I had two voices when I was about 3 years old. I remember very well, we had a special room for the children to play in, and I was walking from the piano to the door. That's I don't know why that is so always coming, that it seems to be significant.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that I was saying something, and at the same time there was another voice speaking, and I thought that's the voice of God. And I didn't know about inner voice, of course, but I really was aware of that you could speak in a way to please or be adjusted or socially adapted, while there is an inner voice that says something completely different. So I was puzzled about these things. I was really, really looking into it. And no one answered me, of course. I saw adults very, very goofed up through the alcohol or wanting to be something, or things were important, very important. The looks, the way we were dressed, or even the children, French fashion, expensive haute couture.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it didn't add anything to the heart, or to being joyful or happy or light or all these things. So yes, infinity. I was really, really taken by that. The universe, how deep is the universe? And if there's an end to this, where does it rest in? Do you recognize
Mm-hmm.
that? Yeah.
Yeah.
And how can infinity be? How come there's taste and vision and life in all these forms? How come we think that plants are different from animals and different from humans, and even rocks and mountains. Yeah, I'm completely back in that phase now, since you asked me. Yeah, I can see it like a movie passing by.
Yeah.
Isn't that what the mind is? There's all these images, all this imagination.
Image
In motion.
Yeah. So in your childhood, did you get answers from books or people, or was that very much later in life?
No, I was not getting, I was really turned down. I was really turned down. I had a direct experience when I was about 2.5 years old. And I think that was very important in my life, because really my mom couldn't stand me. She couldn't mold me or understand it, the kind of child or whatever. Some children, when they are neglected, they go sit in a corner, but I was the one that made the most noise. Yeah?
Yeah, I recognize that. Yeah.
You recognize that. I made a lot of noise.
Yeah.
So to create, now I can say, I'm 70 years old, I can say that now, it was to create an effect. Any reaction is better than being completely neglected.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one time, I think she was desperate, and she was very pained inside. I can see. I have a deep compassion for my mother now. And she grabbed me in the bathtub and she pushed me under the water.
Oh.
And I can remember the struggle. I can see it, with the struggle to grab me like kind of getting grip of an eel. You know, it's slippery, and then she got it, and she pushed me under. And there I came in a boundless silent space. And it was amazing. There was no form. There was silence and infinite. There I got it, my infinity.
Yeah.
Infinite. And wonder. I remember, if there was any quality in that space, it was wonder, like amazement, like, wow, this. And then she pulled me up again. I think just before I would snap the cord with the body, and I was like, oh, there's the reflex of getting air again. But I knew there was something. I was fascinated. All of my life I've been looking for that. What was that? And where is that? And how come that it seems to be so dense here, and what it was so spacious and transparent, ethereal. Where is that? It must be here too. If it was in me then, it must be in me now.
Yeah.
But I don't see it anymore. So I kept digging and digging and digging and digging. The answer was never in school, of course. The teachers. So I knew I could not learn from any adult. It was so. I was born in 1945, so it was not so common. It's now very fashionable.
To talk about these things, or to find information?
Yeah.
I remember in our Dutch interview you told you started searching inside the body. You were very interested in how the body worked.
Oh yeah. I was fascinated by life and death.
Yeah.
And where is life in the body?
Yeah.
So, and what is it? How does it all function? The me that you call this body. And I when for my 10th birthday, I asked a medical encyclopedia, and I read it all, and I was fascinated by the body to find in the whole in a part like this, to how this is all relate to something else. All that body. I was looking in the physical form first, And I extended my search by the books of my father. My father was a medical doctor, so he had many of those books. I was fascinated. So I studied through that too. Secretly, books under my pillow, of course. And then I didn't find the answer. It was not enough. It was fascinating. I knew a lot about the human body and anatomy and the illnesses, what it all got when something is wrong, like with your car. But what is life itself? There was no answer to that.
You could not find that there in those books in that body. No. What is life?
Yeah, and what is that?
Yeah.
It's so significantly different to look at a body when there's life in, and when the life departs.
Yeah.
That's really amazing.
Yeah.
And significant, makes all the difference, isn't it?
Yeah.
It suddenly starts. It doesn't move anymore. On another level, of course, because when you look with the microscope, there's a lot
going on,
happening after death too.
Yeah, decay.
Yeah.
So, did you play the human game for 10 or 20 years? Getting married, getting children. You all did that.
Well, not as a regular teenager, because we were living in some kind of a castle. My father was gone. He left the family, and it was a building from 1627.
A real castle.
Yeah. It's wat is een landhuis, een buitenplaats.
Mansion.
Buitenplaats.
Oh.
It's like a 44 rooms.
Oh.
And a building in the park for the carriages and such a tea house and a lake. 2 acres of park and 20 acres of woods.
Wow.
On the river Vecht, because it's from the Golden Age. Huh?
That sounds like an expensive house.
Yeah. So we rented it for, hardly anything. So when my father sold his practice, he paid 25 years of rent in advance, 1,000 guilders a year.
Oh.
He thought, let's pay it all. And then he left, so we were there. And my mother was taking a lot of attention. She was really, really, really difficult and pain soul. So my teenage years, and because I was living so remote, were really to take care and work in the house, and we were also wearing those costumes from that time.
Yeah.
And we have all those fireplaces and all the candles and she would not tolerate friends in the house, because my friends would never behave in the good way. My mother really was a pained and a fantastic woman, but a very pained soul.
Mm-hmm.
I can say deeply pained, so that's why I use the word soul. And so when I left the house when I was 17, I had never been in the world really. It was like, for me, like I didn't know the music of the world, classical music, of course, we only, and French.
Chanson.
Chanson, oui. And speaking French, that's chic, n'est-ce pas?
Yeah, oui.
And so after that, yes, I went to Paris for a year, and I was in the ballet school at Place de la République. And then when I came back from Paris, I needed a job, I needed education also, and I was still fascinated with life and that, so I decided to be a nurse in the hospital.
Yeah.
But I think I've never done the usual teenage stuff and all of that. Yeah.
Was that a miss for you? How do you call it? Did you catch up with that later in life? Or like Michael Jackson did, he had to work all his childhood?
I don't think so.
No.
Because still I was too much fascinated in the nature of things.
Yeah.
So I never really fitted the fun and all that. Of course, yeah, I had boyfriends. So, but not like in a relationship or so. And then I met this man, this man that really was. Yeah, he said he would he loved me.
Yeah.
And I loved him. I think he was more eager to marry a woman that was living in that castle.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
Because we were quite famous at the time.
Yeah. I wanted to marry into a rich family.
Yeah. Well, the wealth was not there.
Looked only like that.
Yeah. Facade, huh?
Yeah.
Beautiful, skillfully, but
built
not in the wallet.
No. So you married this
So
man?
I married him, yeah. We got 3 children, 3 daughters. I always knew it. I would have 3 daughters before I was 30.
Oh.
And that's what I did. And then he said, I'm not really family man, and he left.
Oh, he left you with 3 little children?
Yeah.
That's a big, how do you call it, challenge?
Yes. And it's very funny how existence does that, because I really married and I really recreated this family, in my view, to not repeat my own childhood. And existence gave me exactly the same repetition.
Yeah, a husband who left.
Yeah, and a family that is lacking a father and all of that.
Yeah.
Maybe the difference is that I was not my mother, and I was really playful with the children and completely with them and in them and seeing them each as individuals and very creative.
Yeah. So, was that a difficult time?
Yeah.
Financially, you didn't. I imagine you didn't have time to go to see the teachers of the world during that period.
No.
No.
So I remember I was first reading dictionaries. You see, I don't fit really in peers. I mean, friends of my age to do each other's hairs or try some makeup or go shopping. Yeah. I never got it. I still don't get it, shopping. What is shopping?
Yeah, looking to fulfill that hole.
When I need something, I buy it.
Yeah.
Nowadays, often online. And when I don't need, I'm not going to walk through a city or whatever to see whether maybe there's something I want to buy. You come home with a bag full of stuff. Yeah. It costs a lot of money. You can use it or give it to someone that really needs it.
Yeah.
And then where to find a place for the stuff again. And then you have the same emptiness of...
Yeah, it fulfills for a little moment. You go shopping, it's a sort of an ego thing to now I'm fulfilled. But after an hour, it's laying there.
You know, when I'm really fulfilled, when I throw things out.
Yeah. You say you started reading dictionaries.
Yes, dictionaries. I can see myself sitting on the board of the swimming pool, and my children having a lot of fun, and I was reading dictionaries. Yeah, because the root of the words were fascinated me too. Where's language coming from? These words must have a very deep and wisdom root.
Mm-hmm.
I love to do word clearing. Takes words apart and see. It's fascinating.
Yeah, I recognize that. Can you remember some words that gave you that? Oh.
Yeah. What about the word enthusiasm? Do you know?
Yeah. Onto.
Ent
Yeah.
is Greek.
Yeah.
And it means in.
Yeah.
And to is from theo, thous.
Yeah.
It means God.
Mm-hmm.
It's enthusiasm is really being in God.
Yeah.
When you say with your work, Patrick, when you're in enthusiasm, and it's not you doing or anyone, it's just God doing.
Yeah. Through me. As a vehicle. Whatever.
You are God.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm being God in his fullest. When I'm
in his
enthusiastic.
fullest spontaneity.
Yeah.
That's enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And it can be very subtle. I mean that it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So when you look into the words, it's beautiful to see where the roots are coming from.
Yeah. And very true.
Yes.
In
very true. So it's like every word is like a scripture in itself.
That's a beautiful way of saying.
Yeah. And I love a little book. It's very, very deep. And it's got God, man, the Word made flesh. Because everything is coming from resonance.
Mm-hmm.
And the Word is also contains a Shakti, an energy.
Yeah.
Matraka Shakti. And like the rishis, the first seers, they were creating through sound. They could know that's the true mantra from the Sri Yantra, from the Om, the primordial sound, to the seers, to create a sound to bring this existence into beingness.
Yeah.
From ethereal, immeasurable, into the, I call this condensed emptiness.
Yeah.
So you can sing the universe into being, and you can sing the world, universe out to being. It's like an in-breath and an out-breath.
Yeah.
These things fascinate me.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Okay, but back to the swimming pool. I'm very interested in how your way. Okay, you were in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Back to the swimming pool. Yeah.
So at the swimming pool, what was that? A swimming pool in Holland or in a foreign country?
Yeah. At that time, I lived in California.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Davis. I met a man. He was a guitar player. He was very joyful. Who asked me to come to a course he was doing,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, okay, I'll come with you. And it happened to be in Scientology.
Mm-hmm.
Scientology is an applied religious philosophy.
Yeah.
A religion comes from, again, getting in touch with again,
Yeah.
and a religion comes from a connection.
Yeah.
Reconnect
With God.
with the heart within.
Yeah.
Whatever you name it, God. Yes. Whatever you can say.
Yeah.
When you say the heart within is also like a way of saying what you can't say really.
Yeah.
So when I came in Scientology, it was a little building there in Davis, California. I was advised to start doing a communication course.
Mm-hmm.
Com means two, and union is one.
Yeah.
So where the two are one.
Yeah.
So isn't that beautiful? Communion.
Yeah. Real communication.
Real
Yeah.
communication. That's the base of the universe.
Yeah.
Is nothing to do with personal. But the real communication, that's what makes everything turn.
Yeah. Like we're doing right now.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it was very, very good to do, because it was answering in a way already a lot of the dramas and the misunderstandings and the suffering of my mother and all of that, because just not having any idea of true listening.
Yeah.
All these drills we did. Sorry. All the drills we did, I mean, so skillfully built up. Communication drills, to not be distracted and stay with what you really want to ask. And this TR0, oh my God, so beautiful. Just the first assignment was to sit opposite each another person with closed eyes. And it said to be, just to be.
Yeah.
Comfortably sitting. Well, that's the base of communication. That's the base of communication, isn't it? Just to be able to sit comfortably with someone.
Yeah.
Before you just that.
Yeah. That's difficult for a lot of people.
Just that.
Yeah.
Was an eye opener. I thought, yeah, that's where it starts.
Yeah.
And not with vias, they call it, like doing something to be
in a posture.
Yeah. Having all kind of things, this is already.
Yeah.
And when you did something like that, was flunk, and you go back. And then the second, to same drill, but then with eyes open.
Yeah. Just to be.
Just to be.
Yeah.
And that has been, for 6 hours a day, huh? I had never heard about meditation. But that's... What it did for me was amazing.
Yeah.
Because there was not a me nor a you, there was just a presence. Boundless presence. In fact, there I was in the bathtub again, in the water, in that boundless presence. And there I can now say I'm aware of it, I can talk about it, but then I didn't even know that, well, I'm aware of this, everything was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. And this playing field, the playground of nothingness, to dance upon like waves on the ocean.
Yeah.
That was very big for me. Only this experience. Yes.
Yeah. And you also do the Dianetics?
Yes. Next, after the communication course, I went to a course called Student Head, and it's called How to Study. And I thought, oh my God. Now I have 3 kids, I'm 30, and someone comes that there's a method to study. They don't learn it in school. Why are you loaded in school with books and studies and assignments and grades, and no one tells you how to study?
That's step 1.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and there again, I learned how important it is to clear words, to know what you're reading about.
Yeah.
Because doodling, or it is kind of doping off, that you get sleepy, or suddenly you decide to go do something in the kitchen, or you even think it's ligament to be, you need to go to the bathroom. All excuses because you are hitting on a misunderstood word.
Yeah. Wow.
So when your supervisor saw that there was something going on or whatever, would come and say, hey, go back into the text and see what word did you not understand.
Yeah.
People can get crazy over this.
Yeah.
Passing words all the time. When we got algebra in school, no one told me what the word algebra means. What am I going to be into?
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
A plus B.
Yeah.
Algebra.
No explanation.
No. Why did I need to learn that?
Yeah. And in Scientology they did. They did it very carefully.
Everything has been, so this is the method how to study. So no way than that, I started with the Dianetic training,
Yeah.
Fascinating. And in fact it was because at that time my mother was still alive, and I was for the first time in my life at the other side of the ocean, away from my physical roots.
Yeah.
Which was really, really an eye-opener. I mean, it's like I was born and it was legal to live and to explore in my own way, without a name, in the name of the family and the history of the family and all of that. And then when I had any emotion or feeling, and I would say my mom, I was very little, and she would always say, you can't have any feelings because you didn't experience anything. So then I could inhibit, a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
But so it was a field to explore for me.
Yeah. You came alive.
I absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I remember when I said to one of the supervisors, I said, next month I'm returning to Holland. I must not think about that. And he says that's a non-confront. And that's the first step of the communication course, like to be and comfortably and look. And I was like, oh. He said, look into that. There's some mental charge.
Yeah.
And we can do something about it. You can do something about it. And which is Dianetics.
Yeah.
Dia means through, and nothing comes from nous, means mind.
Yeah.
Looking through the mind.
Yeah.
The mental image pictures. Very fascinating.
Yeah. And a sort of self-inquiry then.
Yeah, you do the L. Ron Hubbard. He built a bridge. He calls the overall word is a bridge to a better world. Mm-hmm. And the bridge has two sides. And one side is the theory.
Yeah.
It's called significance. So the meaning in words. And the other side is to practice this and experience. And you go together. These go together. These go together.
Yeah.
It's like a doctor who's taught about pain in your belly.
Yeah.
And he has never had any pain in his belly. That's like not in balance.
Yeah, he doesn't know what
he doesn't know what he's talking about.
No.
So you have to experience.
Yeah.
I love that. That is called applied religious philosophy, because we apply what we learn.
Yeah.
We apply. And also what was very wonderful, the checkouts. I learned that in that student had or how to study, is the checkout was not by being checked out on your on a mental level. Mm-hmm. What did you teach? What did you learn? What did you learn? What did you learn? Mm-hmm. But the checkouts were in clay demonstrations.
Yeah.
Do you know that?
Clay?
Clay, yeah. They said, well, this is the process. This is like cause and effect, or this comes from that, and that's how a certain dynamic works. And so you make in clay all the faces.
Yeah.
You put it in clay.
Yeah.
And if you don't really understand it by heart, by experience, by having looked through, then you can't do it.
Yeah.
You can't bring it into existing, into form.
Yeah.
And then you get someone that did not study that study. And you ask them, you can please come and look at my clay demonstration and see what you see, what's happening here. And if they, by just visually seeing the process, and it could be very abstract puppets, you know, I mean, not nose and eyes, and just this kind of thing. And he was looking through the whole thing and speaking about what he was observing there, and your study, your theory came out of the story of someone looking at it, then you had passed.
Yeah.
Passed. Isn't that very beautiful?
You expressed it. Yeah.
Expressed it.
Yeah.
And someone else that looks at it sees it,
Yeah.
and it must be clear.
Yeah. That's what great art is also. An expression of...
Exactly.
This inner thing, yeah.
But very precise.
Yeah.
Herbert said 100% standard tag means don't make your own abbreviation. It works like this.
Yeah.
And I'm very sure that, however, I can't be sure, but so to speak, I'm very sure that lots has come from what Herbert found about the mind.
Yeah.
Like NLP and all kind of things come now, without mentioning the word Scientology.
Yeah. You came back to Holland?
Yes.
And then? Did you find the Scientology movement here? Or
I went to Amsterdam to finish my studies and also be a Dianetic auditor.
Okay.
While I had my children here. And so in the morning I dropped my children at school. I went to Amsterdam. I had just a folding bike.
Yeah.
So I put my car
at the station.
At the first bridge into Amsterdam from here.
Yeah.
Took my bicycle and went through the city, because when there's traffic jams with this little bicycle, you can go everywhere. Study and study and study till like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the evening. And then I went home, and for those days I had a neighbor that got the children from school, and got to have Yeah.
So
3 days a week.
And why did that stop? You have any explanation?
Yeah, it stopped because I was the first Dianetic clear in Holland.
Yeah?
Yes.
Great.
Yeah, he got still that bracelet, clear bracelet, was it called. And then there, above this clear, it's called clear, is a process called the Sunshine Rundown. And I've also done that. I mean, I was done in 1 second. It was about an insight. I'm not going to say what it is, what the assignment was. And you can walk months, maybe years with this, but I looked through it within a second. And then I felt that the next levels is called the OT level, operating Thetan. Thetan is a light body. In fact, theta is a light, and were very expensive.
Yeah,
very expensive, and I felt also that the period to study and study and study, and also of course the practice, because as I told you, it's in balance. I wanted to dance.
Yeah.
I wanted to move.
Yeah.
I wanted to celebrate. I wanted to just live.
Enjoy.
Enjoy. I enjoy and live this. This.
Yeah.
So that's when I met Osho. That's what I wrote to Osho. I said I've studied and studied and studied.
And now
the medical encyclopedia, the dictionaries, the Scientology, and I feel my heart wants to dance now.
Yeah.
And then he gave me the name Prem Sava, means love is real. Love is reality. And
you've been to Osho in India, or was he
in India?
Yeah. You spent time at
3 weeks.
Yeah.
I had no more time. I had no money, and I could borrow some money from a friend. I had a job. I could not get more than 3 weeks, and I had 3 children.
Yeah.
So but I had one wish to sit at the feet of my master one time in my life. Well, for now I've been in India for 30 times, at least.
Yeah.
Because, yes. So the first time when I came in the ashram was in 87. It was the first time he was speaking after 3 years and the whole thing that happened in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And I was called in. I could come into the Lao Tzu house. I remember Osho coming. I was sitting there. I mean, the mind. This is where I really know I cannot rely on my mental thinking. Well, there's no other thinking than mental thinking, because the dream of our life is coming through. Osho steps in. Yeah. I'm sitting there and I'm thinking I would like to have French fries with mayonnaise. I thought, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
How this mental body just wants to block this for some Monday and they don't even like it. And he was so transparent and so small, Osho. He's not tall.
No.
And it was beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't remember any word, but that's what I'm saying to the people that come to satsang with Giovanni also. If you go and you don't think, the heck, what did she talk about? Then you have listened. Thank you. Because we are not transmitting words. It's in fact Shakti, and no one does that. It's not a doing.
Yeah.
It's happening or not. It depends on how open the hearts are, how receptive we are.
And how do you know if something is open?
You know it immediately. Don't you?
Yeah.
You know it immediately. And in fact, it's open when there's no evaluation, invalidation, or interpretation.
Real communication.
That's real communication.
Yeah.
No expectation.
Yeah. No plan or
nothing.
No. Yeah.
And it's very rare to meet that.
Yeah, but also peaceful and beautiful.
To me, that's the only way.
Yeah.
I think this is why I can play with a 2-year-old easily.
Yeah.
Because, you know, my grandson, 2.5-year-old, my youngest one, was here last week, and he is enthusiastically playing. Then with the drums, he's dancing here, and I don't have to wonder, does he really want to dance now? Or does he show up for me or whatever? He is just consciousness moving, you know.
Expressing.
It's like a dog. You run, and then whoop, and then you sleep.
Yeah.
Or you drink when you're thirsty. You eat when you're hungry.
Yeah.
And there's no mental how it should be, or what I'm or to make an impression on someone or whatever. That's all gone, and you know it immediately.
Yeah.
I've heard so many times, "Oh, Giovanni, but you're so sensitive. You look through you know everything." Yeah, you are myself. Yeah. Do I not know myself? I call it the dolphin antenna. Here, it's completely red here. That's the unilateral eye. That's the one that sees.
Yeah.
That sees through and beyond.
Yeah.
Not the 2 eyes. You cannot see the 2 eyes, really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when someone has this Botox or whatever in their face, I say, oh, well, this is an old lady with Botox. That's what I see.
Yeah, of course.
I don't see a young lady.
No. So, you came back from India
Yes.
to good old Holland. And were you then still, were you a sannyasin? Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Very easy. Very easy because you don't have to search for clothes. They stick out.
Yeah. Yeah.
You walk you go in the shop.
Red.
Or Albert Kuip, the market.
Yeah.
And when there's no red, you can go, you know. You can see it from the doorstep.
That's handy.
Yeah.
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 And you've been to...
and this mala, huh? And I was
yeah,
working in elementary school at that time.
With the mala.
With the mala,
Yeah.
and then coming back with the naam, Savab,
Yeah.
Prem Savab. Easy, the children just run up to me, don't even see the color of my clothes, and look at the mala and say, oh, he must be very sweet because he looks like my grandpa. You know, that's because there's no...
Yeah. No pre-assumption.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And the principal of the school came to me, and he said, we are proud to have sannyasin in the school.
Ah, great. Yeah.
Yeah, I was happy because it was a Jena plan school, a certain method.
Yeah.
And they are dependent on the students. So I thought if parents are going to take their children off the school because there's a sannyasin walking around, then I have to go.
Yeah.
But he said, we are proud.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're now, let's say, in the 90s, I guess.
Yes.
You stayed a sannyasin for a couple of years.
In the 90s. Yeah.
And then, did you start talking yourself already, or is that?
Oh yeah. I started. I was in Pune, and I did never go into any into a red. I didn't go with a red family feeling. I didn't go to find a relation, a boy, a man. Let's say that about men, and I just went to see my master, and I didn't even know the word Dharma, but just this was my single focus. I did not hear about Upanishads and the razor's edge at that time, but I was living on the razor's edge until there's no razor's edge to find. And I knew it. I knew it inside of me. I didn't, but these words, you know, they think you can never reach that. You say, well, reaching enlightenment, I didn't want to reach anything. But then, of course, no. And so I was sitting in that walkway from Osho. It's an air-conditioned glass walkway through his garden for a Vipassana retreat, a silent retreat. And it was in that silence, in that boundless silence, which is non-existent, in fact, because so, as soon as you can say silence, there must be, there's a heartbeat and there's a bloodstream, and the more transparent you become, the louder the bloodstream is in your ears. I can even hear millions of electrical connections in the brain.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought, what is silence? It's not excluded.
Yeah.
It is included. It is all. It comes together. There's no separation anywhere. And before that walk, when this swan came, this really living swan, spreading his wings on the glass. So here I'm sitting, and there's this white swan spreading his wings, and I heard a voice, and the voice said, a male voice. And till today, I don't know if it's Maharaji or Osho, a voice that I did not know. That's what I feel. And it says, this is the quality of your being. Don't settle for less. Demanding. I thought, okay, either I'm getting crazy, I make things up, or this is true. And I'm going to find out. So I went home to Holland, and I remember I was sitting at my dinner table with my children were in school, quit my job, having my, no, I had one daughter still living here. The others were on their own. Madhu was working in England, was 9 years head heartmaster of the Osho Kosang School in Devon, and Mike was living here somewhere, and I had one that was dependent. I was going to the University of Amsterdam, but financially dependent. I was sitting with my hands open, empty-handed, and I said, God, here I am. My hands are empty. Use them. Even when it brings me water or bread. And if that doesn't come, then I'm not needed anymore. And I meant it. I meant it. Then I'm not needed anymore. And from that moment on, from nothing, and I didn't have a social life or these friends or this and that. You're quickly rid of your friends if you don't first divorce.
Yeah.
Then they are gone for 90%, and the other 10% will leave if you don't have any wine and you start with herbal tea.
Yeah.
Gone. And 3 kids on Friday night is also no. And the visitors come and we do games, and so they are not coming for that. They come for the talk and the wine and French cheese.
Socializing.
So from there on, these empty hands, the whole thing, people just started coming.
Yeah.
People started coming. Osho. I started doing these sessions.
Meditation or?
First, no, and then I was asked to have a meditation group in the photo theater here in IJsselstein, and had big groups of people. I mean, even in suits, they came, shopkeepers, beautiful, fantastic. No nonsense. I have never attracted so-called spiritual people.
Yeah.
So I didn't have that hurdle. People that come to show off their spirituality.
Yeah.
I just can't. I don't do anything with that.
No.
They will not get what they want. They get furious at me sometimes.
Yeah.
You don't acknowledge
How far
my enlightenment, and you are taking position, and because you want to be the only one. All kind of nasty projections.
Yeah.
People that show off with I've read this and that and Nisargadatta and Advaita and I know this and I cannot do anything with them.
No.
People that go from guru to guru and or can come and sit in lotus position. So once they see, oh, fantastic, what are you sitting nicely? I mean, you can stand on your head, I don't care. And these people, they don't find the spiritual scene with me.
Yeah.
And so when they come once and you don't see them. So these people that are really innocent. Some people came to the meditation groups and they didn't even know about satsang and spirituality or whatever. Some are with me already for 25 years.
Yeah, great.
They woke up slowly to, some came, like this lady comes because she's blind. Her husband drives her, and I have her on the table with these same hands. And after 1 hour, she could see light and darkness. And after 3 months, she could drive her car again.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happens. And that's where Anandamai stepped in. She just appeared. and Osho died.
Yeah.
And Osho died, and I nearly went with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I was in Holland. I just came from Pune. And he started to talk to 4.5 hours. 4.5 hours. And something happened there. First of all, some people needed to always wanted to be in the front. Someone wanted to be in the front.
Yeah.
They had to pee in their meditation pillow because they couldn't leave, and because he was talking so long. So the next, the next evening he came and said, "Tonight I will talk into breakfast." And the ones that was in the front the day before, or then sitting in the back, could leave to go to the bathroom or whatever, move a little bit, It's funny stuff, funny stuff. But he was talking there, and I was sitting in the back because I was not liked by the important persons, and and he another body came from his body. You can call it ethereal or astral. I don't even know about these things, but he moved, and he came to me, and he did this. Come. And I was with a friend, and we left the discourse. It was not called satsang, but discourse. And I told him, Osho's dying.
Pooh.
He is giving us so many words that possibly you cannot even follow. He is giving us so many words for 4.5 hours that we had to let go of the words. And I was impressed. I also said he trusts us so much that we will keep this up, we will carry this. He said samasati, that is the right remembrance. We will remember. Buddha said samasati, means I am the Buddha. Samasati, the right remembrance. He can go now, he can go. Because we do not forget.
Yeah.
And then I went to Holland, and then I heard someone call. But he left his body, but I left my body. Same time.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I would Maharaj would say, the gates of Jiva Mukta are wide open. When your master dies, it's the opportunity. It's the opportunity because everything is open. And in this love, in this deep love surrender, not sticky love, not even love you can name. You could not even say unconditional love because there is no conditional love. Conditional love is called politics, It was amazing. This man was sitting here in this living, he saw me go, he pulled me back.
Yeah.
He said, "You stay here." But Osho didn't really leave me because all the sessions that I did with the hands, I started these meditation classes. People just came. I never made any advertisement, nothing. And it was all Osho energy. I mean, my hands are moving by itself. I don't even do it.
Yeah.
Till a point that I was screaming in the garden here in the garden, and my neighbor could have complained. I said, "I'm sick of this inner voice. I'm sick of this silent voice. Now speak to me from the heavens. What shall I do? Tell me." And then this same friend said, "Let's go to Amsterdam to see Osho video." I said, "I have 30 here.
Yeah.
I don't watch them." And why shall I go do that? He said, just to be in another place.
Yeah.
So I went to Amsterdam, to this called Supernova, that meditation center of Osho. And I was sitting in this big room, and because the video would be there all by myself, and a Saryan came in, that was my Tai Chi teacher, and he said, you're in the wrong place, because someone else is coming here, we have a video upstairs. But I was in this no-thingness. I thought, what does it matter whether I sit here or there, or nothing in me moved to stand up and, oh, I have to see that video and it's upstairs. So, and then Shantimai stepped in. And only her big toe, it says that the left toe is the guru toe, was this shock of recognition. I saw myself. From that moment on was just... I didn't know her name, I didn't know she was an enlightened woman, I didn't know anything. I think after 1.5 hours she spoke, some more people came, and Saryan came again, how are you, and I want to see you. And I said, who was that woman? He said, oh, her name is Shantimai. She's an enlightened woman. And her master is Hansraj Maharaj. He lives in Satchidanand Ashram near Rishikesh in India. And she's going now. She spends the winter time with him. I immediately booked a ticket. And I went to Lakshmanjula. And I asked an appointment with Shantimai. And the next day I could come.
Yeah.
It was very funny, because she said, you can be at 11 o'clock. She can come at 11 o'clock. And I was sitting there at before 11, of course. You know, nice, and irons, and teeth brushed.
Yeah.
And then someone came out of the house and said, Shantimai is delayed 15 minutes. So she asked you to come back at 5 o'clock. I thought, well, it must be dangerous here, because they were so polite. She's so polite. Why shall I not wait for 15 minutes? I mean, when I have an appointment with a doctor, the dentist, I can easily wait for 30 minutes or longer, you know.
Yeah.
So when they're too kind and too nice and too... It must be dangerous here. That was my old condition with my mom. When she's kind, then something happens.
Something's wrong.
Then something's wrong.
But nothing was wrong.
No, of course not. I saw that it was my projection.
Yeah.
It's just being considerate, you know. But I didn't know that considerate in my life.
No?
No one had ever been considerate with me. So when she was, I think her Zen stock has been a feather. I could stand my man, you know, in life, and do this, do that, and be strong. And but I was not used to be approached kindly and softly.
Mm-hmm.
There was my danger zone.
Yeah.
Very, very nice how that happens. I can see it in my students too. That somewhere you're really, really kind and loving, really from within, not like a method, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that they get very nervous.
Yeah?
Yeah.
They're not used to that.
People are afraid of love.
Yeah. But it's still the thing everyone's searching for.
Yeah.
And we're afraid of it.
Yeah.
That's strange.
Yes. I think that's a big thing on earth. People are afraid of love.
Yeah. But you weren't at that time anymore.
No, because I trust myself. And I'm not dependent on anyone's understanding. I mean, can I understand myself?
Mm-hmm.
Someone said to me, listening with understanding is love. Is real listening. What is understanding? Can you understand how your nail grows on your finger? Can you understand what keeps the moon in the sky? Can you understand yourself?
We can explain it, but not understand it.
Not understand it and explain it to a certain level, and then we have to let go of understanding. So there's just listening, to be with what is, or better to say, what appears to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is not what appears to be is not the way it is.
Nothing is as it appears to be, nor is it otherwise. Quote Lankavatara Sutra. Fantastic. Nothing is as it appears to be, nor is it different, nor is it otherwise.
Yeah.
A dog is not a dog and is a dog.
Yeah.
And not.
That's some great koan to think about.
Yeah, in the meantime also I've been with the Zen master.
Yeah.
Before Osho. And that's where I did the koan study, yes, with him.
Yeah.
It's been a very deep time and it's coming back now. It's coming back, this Heart Sutra recitation in Japanese is very powerful. If you have time, I will have you listen to it.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit more, Jivanjali, about Shanti Mai and how you stayed with her and eventually she gave you the name Jivanjali, or?
Yeah, no, right away, in fact.
Yeah?
After that first winter time, when one time she asked, what is your name? And I mean being with Osho, and then by that time being a little bit awake about all the concept that people have on gurus, was the fact that anyone would look at you and say, what's your name? Was like, oh, she asked for my name, and that, this kind of worshipping, that doesn't suit me, you know. No. It doesn't suit me. I saw people doing that around me, and then I'm again a stranger in the group.
Yeah. Because
I can't do that. And I can also not. I was looking for there's one where are the rules? How do we behave? And in fact, according to Shanti Mai, there are no rules. So what's happening in the Sangha? People make up rules.
Yeah.
Because they want to have rules.
Yeah. They want to confirm.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Strange.
But I also always had this. I was with a friend, David Deep, who and we always made the videos for Shanti Mai. So I have many videos, like 20 or so. So we were a lot with her to discuss also what we should ask in satsang to have a nice video.
Yeah.
To have the good questions to do. She can have a good answer, you know. Like Osho, he wrote his own questions.
Yeah. They didn't come from the audience.
I can not say never.
Never, but yeah.
Absolutely, and he had this joke by having the same question 3 nights in a row and giving complete different answers every night.
Yeah.
And which is a teaching in itself.
Yeah.
But you must see it, huh?
But Jivanjali, can you tell me how that becomes that a teacher offers so much freedom and students still want to conform to a set of rules or a way to live, or
they are getting very
Are we also, you say we're afraid of love, but are we then also afraid of that freedom?
Freedom, forget about the word freedom. I don't think it really exists.
Okay.
Okay? We are afraid of being spontaneous. Because we don't recognize our authenticity already. You're already perfect. You're already as you are. It's like a leaf on an oak tree. It's just perfect as it is. Would it have been different? It would have been different. But you look into nature. I love to look into nature. The Tao in nature, the rhythm and rhyme. How everything is perfectly fitting and serving the other.
Yeah.
Everything is food resting on food in the myriad forms. I mean, an endless amazement, a deep teaching.
Yeah.
The teachings are not, I mean, one day you leave the teaching on the bookshelf, you know, you just go into nature.
Yeah.
I remember I was sitting in Mesopotamia a few years ago, Syrian border, not even aware of war or whatever. And I was just gazing at thousands of ants passing by, each with this thing in their mouth, a stick like a needle of a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And walking, knowing exactly what they were doing.
Yeah. Perfectly orchestrated.
Perfectly orchestrated. Yeah. Why shall I think that something in me was wrong or not good? It is arrogance.
Yeah.
God all the way created me imperfect. And maybe I am created imperfect, but that's also perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purana Mudachate Purnasya Purnamaraya Purnama Viva Shishate. This is perfect, that is perfect. From the perfect springs the perfect. Take the perfect from the perfect, and only the perfect remains. So people are afraid for that.
Yeah.
I think this is also conditioning, because we learn from very young that we do things wrong.
Yeah.
But you know, when you look in Animal Kingdom and you see a lioness with her cubs, she is very fierce in how she handles them. That, you know, they are taught, disciplined in a certain way.
Yeah.
But not with a judgment. Not with, they don't have the fear of, oh, now mommy I'm losing her love.
Yeah.
And I need her.
It is love that
Yeah,
discipline.
exactly, it is love.
Yeah.
And here it has no sense. It's the name of the family or the disappointment of the father.
What the others think.
Or what the other thing. What you are measured by the grades you bring home from school.
Yeah, terrible. Diplomas.
It is terrible.
Yeah.
It is terrible. So, when there are no rules, people get very, very nervous. They don't understand.
They have to rely on themselves.
On themselves and on a organic harmony.
Yeah. Tell me how to live. Tell me how to act here. Is it okay if I sit like this or?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, and they want to take position to be something, huh?
Yeah.
There's a beautiful saying, I think it's from Shantimai. Everyone wants to be the Buddha. The Buddha is no one. No one wants to be no one. That's the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Until here I will follow you, but after that,
Yeah.
no.
And then even following the rules around the guru in ashram, being the most holy one, you know.
The most devoted.
Oh my God. And I can see it. I've been in Dharamsala with Dalai Lama, And when you see these old women prostrating, I mean, it's a fantastic exercise. They're also very old, so I think it's healthy too. But when they do it from like innocence, or when they do it to be spiritual do-gooder, you know, now God loves me more. This, you see it.
Yeah.
You hear it when someone sings a mantra. To be holy, holy and devoted.
Yeah.
And you feel it when there's something glued to it.
Mm-hmm.
And to just open your mouth and see if there's a sound comes. Yeah. People are afraid of that.
And people, how do you call it? Make themselves smaller or degenerate themselves.
In fact, it's making yourself smaller is making yourself bigger.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How does that work?
Because you have an excuse not to be held responsible.
Ah.
So the ones that don't want to take any attention, take all the attention. Don't mind me draws a lot of attention. I'm so humble.
Yeah.
So it's some spiritual arrogance.
Yeah. And do you meet that with your students following? Or do you say, come on, get real? Be nothing fancy about me or you or...
I tell them I'm speaking master to master.
Ah. That's a great way.
I don't buy into student.
Yeah.
The student is a student. And a seeker is a seeker. And a seeker never finds because then it...
Yeah.
So, and there's nothing to find too. I say we speak just master to master. Potentially, Guru is not a person, of course. It's the principle in all things.
Yeah.
So there's no difference. We are undivided essence. There's no higher or lower, there's nothing. So just to be yourself. And they come with the conditioning oftentimes as being in a school class.
Yeah.
Because they're used to be taught something, but I'm coming to satsang without any preparation. I'm going to Normandy for 2 weeks for a retreat without any preparation.
Because you know?
I don't know anything.
Right. But words will come, things will happen.
Always.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And you don't know, is it raining or not?
Yeah.
We don't know who is coming there, what mood they're coming in here, or they just broke up with their boyfriend, or you don't know nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can prepare, it's all, but you don't know if it fits the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. But isn't that always the case?
It's always the case. Especially. So keep your mind free of projecting. And if you want to prepare, you can prepare, but don't make a condition or applying your preparation.
Yeah.
I have one student, I took her for 2-3 years to Paris. Monthly I went to Paris, to this, to that, and I had intensives, 2-day intensives or whatever. I said, please assist me, you are my assistant.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I never prepare anything. But in the breaks or in the lunchtime, I would say, okay, I want to plan with you what music we use. We started this and that and that and that. And she was really, really like a good student and remembering her, writing down her notes, what she shall do, what time and what we were going to do, which kind of meditation method or whatever. And then I would come in, but something completely different happened. Yeah. And it was, and then she became so flexible to see it's possible, but everything is possible, can be something else too. That's yogi. That's a yoga in life.
Yeah.
It means bending and yielding in the moment.
Yeah.
And what's wrong about saying, nothing is happening?
Yeah.
At least a few billion molecules are racing through your body. There's a lot happening already.
Yeah. Yeah.
But even no expectation. Just being together. I told them I love my guru like myself. There is no other, but not only her, everything therein. You can say very poetically, all is guru. I know it's all is chanting the name Shantimai, but that's romantic to say. Yeah. So you can say that, but don't say it too loudly because people think it's true. Is it true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you tell the name Jivanjali? What does that stand for? Jivanjali?
Oh yeah. Jivanjali means there's only one Jivanjali. That's the funny thing. If you go to Google, there's no other Jivanjali in the world.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, easy also.
Yeah.
Jivanjali means my life is an offering unto the self within and a prayer as well. That's what the name means. And she wrote, because I got my name on a postcard, we are here to love. That's all we have to give. And to love those that are undeserving makes love more precious. And then she signed Live and Love Shantimai. So it's beautiful, huh?
Yeah.
It is beautiful. But you know, when I'm with her or with me, I have no condition on my master. I have no condition on myself. We can talk about carrots. Doesn't matter at all. It just does not matter. It's like when you're sitting in the sun. It does not matter what bikini you wear, or if you're naked, or if you're reading Dostoevsky, or not reading at all, or kissing, or it doesn't matter. The sun shines.
Yeah. For everyone.
For everyone.
Everything.
But not all fruit. Everything is fruit, you can say, but not all fruit is apples. And not all fruit is ripe in the same season.
Yeah.
The sun shines.
Yeah.
In fact, there's nothing to do. But that's the difficulty probably. Because we want methods, and we want this, and we want that, and we want to achieve, and we want to have advanced and not advanced, and this is just doesn't matter. And the beauty is, if people are with me, they really have to see that, because we make a lot of joy, and it's not like popular, like carnival, but we have laughter, and I'm in fact very silent. I have little demands. We have no cooks, and we have no lists. Who is cooking and what is the seva and who is doing the work? It's all organic and it works perfect.
Yeah.
And people who don't understand this, because they can't figure out, they see the list, they have no handle to hold on to, they leave me.
Yeah. Which
are most. Because I'm not really a guru, I'm just doing. Well, happening is happening.
Yeah.
And we have also suggestions, yes. I'm for years already behind the phase that I tell everyone to be in silence. Because that was good for a few years. But now I tell them, just be aware. If you want to talk, if you need to talk, or if you really want to be alone for a while and not saying anything. So when do you socialize, or when do you have a conversation? Just take your own responsibility.
Yeah.
I'm not giving the rules, then I'm an old school teacher.
Yeah.
And I'm leaning in the rules.
Yeah.
I was just contemplating this morning. I die in the moment. If I die in the moment now, which would be fantastic fine, they should not fall.
They?
The ones that are with me, the students, they should not fall.
Yeah.
I mean, I make them in a way dependent too.
No. Yeah.
And I'm here to teach them that they can walk without crutches.
Independence.
Yeah. Independence. And why are you there, Givenchy? Because they don't need to go. Yes, I'm here for that.
Yeah.
I heard on one of your recordings this teacher saying, when you want to learn to play the piano, you find a good piano player.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to practice, and you have to want it, and the music is coming from you.
Yeah.
And someone is born a piano player, and someone has joy and just can play some nursery rhymes. Doesn't matter, in fact. But I want to be. I love the book of Herman Hesse.
Siddhartha?
Narcissus and Gold Moons.
Mm-hmm.
Did you read that?
No, I heard about it.
It's fantastic. Yeah. But when you are living with a woodcutter, a master woodcutter, and then you become a master woodcutter, like organically.
Yeah.
Living this, but without why wouldn't you take some teaching from a master woodcutter? And then maybe you make your own art in it.
Yeah.
But a teacher is not. We have a doctor, we have a teacher in school, we have someone that learns how to ride the bike. I mean, why shall you not
pick up some skills?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have a teacher, or call it a master, god, or guru, I don't care. But someone that points out to you that you can climb a mountain to have an view over the valley.
Yeah.
To open this imagination into its own wonder,
Yeah.
Luminous epinoia, it's called. Divine imagination. And to see how the mind works. And they're looking through and beyond. Because there's some here, I think the masters have been the gatekeepers of the safe, with the key, the code. This is how you open, and then you open, and there it is. And there's nothing in.
Yeah.
But there it is, the wisdom keepers.
Yeah.
In these native tribes, they are called wisdom keepers. And we allow any kind of teacher, but as soon as we meet the wisdom keepers, we say we can do without. Or what do they think they are? Well, that's the only ones that don't think anything about what they are.
Yeah. Givenchy, if there are people who want to come and visit you, Givenchy.org.
Givenchy.org, yes.
That's the website. Any plans for 2016 with maybe retreats or visits to other countries? Or
well, in January I'll be in the desert again. The first week of January I give satsang in Cairo. I have a beautiful sangha in Egypt. I love the open.
Not afraid of going to that
region? No, nothing.
No?
I'm going every year for years.
Yeah.
I was in the Sinai desert. we do lots of work other than having students and satsang.
Helping people.
Opening portals.
Ah.
It was amazing. We found a portal, me and another student. She's the same team. The year before, and I was fascinated. It was not by coincidence, because I wanted to go into the Sinai desert, and then my Egyptian student Savitur, Essam Savitur, he has now a spiritual name. He can tell his fellow Muslims, I have now another name, and my name is Savitur. They all love it. In Holland, you have to be very careful. I mean, we have such a strange idea about these Muslims.
The Islam.
Yeah. Or the Islam. But good. I'm meeting kind people. Let's see, that's my experience. So the year after, we went with many people. And the Bedouins there made I said, I'd like to have a dinner. So they make a prepared dinner, barbecue, we have carpets, and we can sing, and we have these little, the candles in the mountains. Sinai a lot of mountains too. Mm-hmm. And this canyon there. And the end of that canyon, there is a portal. And I said, we start with a light ritual, arati, it's called arati. And I had some ashes of a friend that died with me, brought from the United States. We nearly imprisoned because they thought it was cocaine. Oh. Of course. I mean, they opened the, they said, what is that? I said, that's my friend in ashes.
He said, yeah, right.
And then they opened, and this, oh my God, it was fun. But I got through. And then this portal opened, and it was exactly the moment that the revolution started.
Ah.
It was very powerful.
Yeah.
Very powerful. I mean, I can sometimes hardly keep this body into this form.
So much
energy, Shakti.
Yeah.
This is multiversal.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with little things. The earth is shifting Kundalini. Sophia, Mother Earth, is freeing herself.
Yeah.
That's a complete different subject, but that's more even in Lila, in the play in consciousness, is fascinating.
Yeah.
That's fascinating for me, and I introduce my students highly into this knowledge, into this wisdom. We are very aware.
Maybe we can talk about this in another interview, if you were, because we're almost running out of tape.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Any famous last words you want to say to people who are watching this or listening to this and maybe are still seeking for that ultimate truth, that one thing, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow? What would you like to say?
Dare to be yourself, which is not difficult, because it's just what you are. And dare to change. If you don't like something, dare to change it, and no matter what others might think.
Okay.
That's my message.
Thank you very much. Divanjali. Sitting here in Gemert on a Friday evening with Janneke Geurts. Normally a girl like you goes out on Friday evening with this beautiful weather on a terrace watching people go by. Mm-hmm. Isn't that a better thing to do than sit here with closed windows and closed doors talking about something that cannot be talked about?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You kind of forced me.
Yeah, pushed you. So no, I came with the camera, so we're going to do the interview.
Yeah, I changed my mind about the interview this
Yeah.
afternoon, but
Let's give it a try.
we'll give it a try.
Yeah, because we did a very nice talk in Dutch. People reacted to it positively, and also had a lot of views in 2 weeks or so. It almost 1,000 views. You think any reason for that? Did you push it very hard, or did people just think, "Hey, that's a different kind of face in this Advaita world. Let's hear what she has to say"?
I don't know. How am I supposed to know
No.
what people think?
Well, what did people tell you about it? What kind of reactions did you get?
That I was delightful. Delightful and honest.
Mm-hmm.
And they enjoyed it mostly. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's nice.
It was a relaxing talk with a lot of laughter,
Yeah.
a certain kind of atmosphere. So
Yeah.
maybe it's not about the words then.
Yeah. That's a nice conclusion. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think people generally love to laugh, to feel light. So maybe it was light. It wasn't that heavy.
Yeah.
It's not that serious. It isn't that serious. Life isn't that serious. We make it so sometimes.
Mm-hmm. And I guess there's a reason for everything we do. What's the reason we make life so heavy?
I think it's confusion. I think it's sometimes I have to search for the right words. Because we all believe in the stories. Because we all live in the stories. We all live in past and future all the time. That's what makes it serious and complex. Yeah. And our parents believed it, and their parents believed it, so we all learn to believe it.
Believe what our mind tells us?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
memories.
Memories and expectations and dreams and goals, and well, we are conditioned to strive for happiness, to strive for safety and success and health. And yeah.
And can that be found in the world, happiness? No?
Nah, depends what you call happiness. So what's happiness to you?
Feeling good and cheerful, and just like you were in the Dutch interview. Just, yeah, a lightness about things.
Yeah. So generally feel light about things. That's happiness.
For me, yeah. Without, it doesn't have to have any reason.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you just asked, the question was, is it found in the world?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think so, because, well, not for me. Let's just keep it with me. If you find happiness in the partner in love, it can, it's also scary, because it can go away, you know? And it's outside of you, so it's always moving, and that's scary. And it's with everything in this world, is always moving and always changing. So if you want to have something to make you happy, that's not possible in this world.
Did you try to find it in the world, as everybody does? Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you think would make you happy from the world?
A man and marriage and children. I believed that for a long time. Then a success, money.
Yeah.
Freedom, financial freedom. Yeah. Not having to do anything, and being able to do anything I want. Yeah.
Have you tried it out? Was that possible?
Oh, no, because I didn't win the lottery.
No, yeah.
But I examined it, researched it. Is that a good word?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a state of mind. Freedom is much more a state of mind than circumstance. So you could be very wealthy and feel trapped and scared and unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think I said it in the Dutch interview also, but for people who don't understand our language, people could say who are watching this, well, but you have gotten it all. You've got the looks, you live in a wealthy country, you have a good voice, you can sing,
yeah,
you have a nice smile, so everything works out for you.
Yeah.
Were you just lucky, or is that also possible for a girl with the same age as you, but twice as heavy, or not with long hair, or with illness?
Possible to feel happy.
Yeah, to find that same state of happiness, not having to do anything with circumstances.
Yeah, definitely. Because I'm not going to talk about family or friends, because that's their life, I can't.
Mm-hmm.
But there is suffering around me, and I see people suffer I love very much. And I had to learn and unlearn a lot to be able to be free and happy apart from circumstance.
Mm.
So it's not like my life is wonderful and that's why I'm happy. And I grew up believing I was very, very ugly also. So again, state of mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it's possible for anybody, because it's a state that has nothing to do with stories, and it has nothing to do with ideas. Being beautiful is an idea. Being rich is an idea.
Mm.
Everything is an idea, so everything can drop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What age were you when you started to investigate this kind of stuff?
27, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always difficult if you ask me several times things about time and
Yeah.
when and where. Yeah, it's all blurry.
Yeah,
So
you don't live according to time?
I just live. I don't
Yeah.
know, but I'm not good with
Yeah.
periods of time. And sometimes I find out I have something, I remember something wrong. It's like a memory, and I always thought I was 6, and then my sister told me, no, you were 12. Oh.
Oh.
So stuff
Yeah.
like that. It's just all messed up. I don't know.
Yeah. So you're not someone who lives for the weekend.
No.
On Thursday you think,
Oh my God, no.
Oh, nice, it will be Friday. Or
No.
on Sunday you think, oh, tomorrow it's Monday again.
But it never felt like an option to live that way. It feels like I can't. I cannot. I cannot live for a couple of days a week.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot work towards a couple of days of fun a week. That just never felt right.
Yeah. So you want to have fun every day?
No, it's not that. It's just like I love what I do, working with people with singing and non-duality a little bit as well. I love doing that, and I love doing fun stuff, and I love sleeping in, and I love the things I do. I don't know. If you tell me you have to go work in a I don't know, someplace I don't belong,
Yeah.
I'd be so unhappy. I'd go crazy, I think.
Yeah.
It's not an option. I don't know.
Yeah. Even if it would mean financial wealth or
Yeah.
freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And you give singing lessons to people?
Yeah.
You sing yourself on stage. How does that work with a human voice? Is that something that takes over you when you start singing, or are you the one who's performing? How does that work? Does the music get you, just like when you're on a dance floor, the music gets you and you get into the music?
Yeah, I like that question. When people had an amazing performance and they say I was really into it, I was in flow, you know, so that's when the feeling of a separate self is gone. And actually I think almost all of my performances are almost completely gone right afterwards. Just it's that I'm gone. I'm gone. Yeah.
And when do you come back? When the applause starts, or when you're off stage, or?
No, I just know I don't really remember the performance. It's strange, right? And then there are flashes of thoughts that came up. Like, oh, look at, he's so sweet. There was this guy in a wheelchair and he was cheering, and I was really in love with the guy. So there are flashes of memories, and the rest is gone. I don't know, and I remember again.
Yeah. And when you're performing, how do you feel?
Yeah. That's gone.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, if I'm into it, I'm gone. I've had performances acoustic with people standing right in front of me and being so intimidated.
Yeah.
And that I was constantly in my mind, like, chill, it's okay, it's fine, you can do this, you know? I don't even know your question anymore.
Well, we're talking about singing and how that works out, and if you're still there as a person, or the person drops off.
So it varies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you become self-aware.
Yeah.
And does that influence? Yeah.
Yeah.
It influences the singing in a bad way.
I think so. I'm not really sure, but I think so, because you start thinking about it, and singing freely. I think is the most beautiful. Singing freely. And when you start thinking about it, or you cramp up because of fear, or I don't know. It's just
Yeah. And have you ever auditioned for a show like The Voice of Holland or Idols?
I did once, X Factor, but I was too scared back then. And they saw it.
They saw that you were too scared.
Yeah, they advised me to not pursue this. Yeah.
And thinking afterwards or backwards, are you in regret of that? You think, man, I blew my chance on becoming more famous as a singer, or that doesn't make any difference?
No, I don't know if I'd like to be famous. I don't know. How can I know? I don't know what it means.
Reach more people. Enjoy.
Yeah, I love that though. I'd love to reach a lot of people and encourage self-love and stuff like that. And I'd also love to do a lot of volunteer work, because I have the means or something like that. I'm so blank. What did you ask me?
If you ever auditioned for The Voice of Holland, it was X Factor.
Oh yeah.
And you were too scared back then.
Yeah.
Too self-aware.
Yeah. Well,
confident.
I had a lot of trauma to
cope with.
Yeah. So I couldn't have done it any differently. And I'm glad I feel blessed they protected me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that would have been hell to be in that competition. Yeah. My God. I always challenged myself with my fears. And that also was a challenge. I was very aware. I was very scared. And then they protected me, and I think that was a good thing. Yeah.
And why not now? Why not now make a little recording and go to the media city of Holland and present yourself?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I will.
Yeah.
Maybe I will. It's not a no.
Yeah.
But it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. That's a thing we talk about often, also my friend Paul and I. Things happen by itself. And then the critics of Advaita say, well, but still stuff has to be done. You could become like a very dull person who thinks, well, I'm just going to sit on the couch and wait till people call me. I'm not going to do any initiative. Have you been in that trap, or have you passed that, or?
I don't know if I've been passive because I believed someone will knock on my door, and I don't know. I don't think so. I've always been very busy. But I've read some articles about free will and why there have been some tests about that, and people who believe they have free will respond better. What's the word?
Say it in Dutch.
I don't even know it in Dutch.
Oh.
They accomplish more.
Yeah.
Yeah, believing there's free will.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a study that shows that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've read some articles about that. So it's in some way it's important for people to believe they have free will, because but I don't know. My golden rule is whatever works for whoever, and I think for me the most important thing about seeing there isn't free will is the innocence of people, which gives such a feeling of love. And then experiencing the freedom of choice is also very lovely. It doesn't have, you don't have to get rid of it, because it's nice to wake up and feel like you have a choice.
Yeah.
You have a choice. I choose my story today. I choose a positive story today. I choose to take good care of myself today.
Yeah.
And when you don't take good care of yourself, so it's like the perfect perfect way to live. When you don't take good care of yourself and you mess up everything, you can be very kind to yourself and say, oh well, couldn't help it.
Yeah. Today is not my best day as a body. Yeah.
I don't know, maybe that sounds kind of insane, but it's very loving, and I know it works for me.
Loving toward yourself.
Yeah. To forgive yourself the instant you mess up.
Yeah.
And forgive people around you the instant they mess up. And then get back in stories and make choices again, because that's the way you perceive it. That's the way you experience it.
Yeah. And talking about the body, in Advaita there are numerous people who say you are not the body. You are that which observes the body. You are that which perceives the body. How's that for you, as a younger woman with a body and with maybe wanting to have children or wanting to whatever? Are you the body?
I really wanted to feel that about my body a long time, because I hated it. So I really wanted to get rid of the identification with the body.
Why did you hate it?
It's just, I don't know, state of mind. It's growing up believing you're worthless and projecting it onto everything. It's gone again. I don't know. The body. Yeah. So examining everything around the body, you cannot find yourself in the body. That's obvious. But then you hurt your arm and it hurts, and it's it's your body and it's mine and it's my pain. So I never really got through to that part. I'm not the body. I've always experienced this body as being a center, as being there's nothing else I can call me. It's just, it's not practical. It's a strange thing to say.
No,
it's not practical to deny the body or something in this life.
Yeah.
And I'm all for myself. I just wanted to have fun here and not be that afraid. It's okay to be afraid sometimes, but not be really afraid and traumatized, and to be able to do fun stuff here and do what I love to do and love people and inspire and do whatever it is that feels good. So I'm not the body, I don't
There's still, you need the body to have fun, maybe.
Yeah, and what's the point? What's the point in that realization? Or I don't know, it didn't really do anything for me. It's
Well, maybe let's turn it otherwise. If you're identified with only the body, does that automatically include that you become afraid? Because then you're only the body, and the body can be hurt, and the body is going to die, and the body can get no air, and maybe that's, you know, that there's more than the body that gives you that sense of peace.
Yeah, well, I'm not that sharp today. Now you mention it like that, I realize I'm not really identified. I'm not afraid to die. I'm not looking forward to die. This body, you know, it's not really an issue. It's not.
Yeah. Yeah, that implies that you're not that identified with the body. You know, there's more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe.
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's. I will never experience death. How could I? I'd be dead. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. So not afraid of death. Is there not anything that you are afraid of? Getting hit by a bus? Getting a big scar on your forehead? Gaining 40 kilograms? Is there anything you're afraid of?
Yeah, you can think of things. You can think of horrible scenarios and then say, I'm afraid of that.
Yeah.
That's stories, you know? Because I went there with my mind, just because I'm curious, and I went to horrible scenarios, and there was a time in my life when I wanted to eliminate all fears by examining everything I could think of. And the conclusion was, when something like that, something terrible like that happens, it would be now. And now, everything is okay, except for maybe scary stories.
Yeah.
So if I get that scar, it would be then and there, and I would be fine, except for maybe the scary stories. And I don't know, they don't really stick. Not for long. Sometimes a little longer, but not for long. So, I don't know.
Maybe that's because you don't see yourself as a story anymore. Because story adds to story. If you think you are Janneke, only Janneke who has to become successful, then other stories can cling on to it like a snowball that gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, it's realizing, I don't know, to my core or something. I don't know, it's so hard to explain. I feel like I'm making no sense at all. That I don't know anything. I do not know. I do not know what will make me happy or unhappy. I don't know. I really don't know. So it's fine right now. I know this. I know I'm safe on a chair.
Yeah.
I'm a little warm. A little thirsty. I'm good.
Yeah.
The rest is just, I don't know. Yeah, that's the conclusion. I don't know.
Can you name some teachers you read and used? Like, what was that, Byron Katie or Eckhart Tolle, or what did help? What brought you the first glimpse of this?
First glimpse was my first Sony, of course.
My first Sony?
Yeah.
Eckhart Tolle?
Yeah.
Yeah, just like me.
Years ago, and it didn't create a huge shift or something, but I read The Power of Now, and I had heartache.
Yeah, you were heartbroken.
Heartbroken. And then I read, if you focus on your breath and something like that, then it's not that important, the story. I don't know, something like that. I don't know. And I was laying on bed and I was dying inside. I was very dramatic.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to my breath, and then everything went calm and I was okay. And I remember dancing in my room because I discovered something for me. Like, I really believed before that I needed him to feel okay again.
Yeah.
And then that was the first time I realized I could be okay, and I don't have him.
Yeah.
So I was thrilled.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the book became my Bible until it drove me crazy because I wasn't capable of being present all the time.
Hmm.
So I threw it out, and then years went by before I was 27. It was horrible. I couldn't be present all the time, so then I hated the book. Yeah.
And then at age 27, did you pick up that book again? No?
No, I just, I got burnout for the second time. I felt like I was damaged beyond repair because of my all the trauma and the childhood. And then I ran into a coach who examined convictions, and that's when my life started turning upside down. Literally everything upside down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was he worked from. Inspired by Byron Katie, Course in Miracles, and 6 Steps, Diederik Wolfsack.
Yeah. Great stuff.
Great stuff.
Yeah, and it really gave you back your inner smile.
Yeah.
You can tell it like that.
Yeah.
How many years ago is that now?
You're so hung up on the years. 4 years, I think.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. But I was very fanatic because when I found out all my suffering was in the stories, I wanted them gone, all of them. So I was really hardcore on examining. I remember sitting behind my laptop with a worksheet for hours a day. Every thought that came up,
You wrote it down.
Yeah. And then I made a sport out of it to find the things I believed most intensely, to discover what I believed most intensely, so intensely it didn't even come to mind to examine it. So normal that was to me. I wanted to examine those. I don't know.
And can you name an example? What was a very hard conviction in you?
I have to dig deep.
I am not beautiful. Or there's something wrong with me.
Oh, yeah, I probably examined that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was not very. Those were more of the obvious convictions to examine, but more like I can be somewhere at the wrong time, at the wrong place, or something like that. More the things you'd respond to, or most people would respond to as sure, of course. You can have bad luck.
Yeah.
In life, more the common things. Yeah.
But how do you turn around that?
Bad luck.
Yeah.
Yeah. You mean really do the work on it?
Yeah.
Examine it.
Did you think you had bad luck all the time? Or?
Yeah.
Ah. Yeah. And
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not. That's not why I examined it. This particular thought, you can have bad luck. It's just in general.
Yeah.
I wanted to the general convictions. Everyone would say, yeah, of course. I wanted.
But you wanted to know for sure.
Yeah.
And to see what's under it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we all believe it doesn't make it true. And there is a lot of suffering. So, actually, what I concluded was we got the game plan wrong. We don't understand the rules of life. we go straight against the rules of life. Life is just happening, and we oppose our ideas on life. And then we're wrong, because life is just like whatever you believe, I'm doing my thing, and then we suffer. And we keep doing that. And I'm very, I laugh a lot today, I don't know. It's kind of funny and so obvious.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
It's strange. Yeah.
You also said before we started the interview that the victim role, that's something that people love to cling on to.
Yeah, it's not, yeah. It's innocent. It's innocent. I have to say, people are innocent in doing what they do. And
you don't blame them?
No, I've been a victim most of my life.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I've been, and I've behaved so badly, so ugly, out of believing I was so
damaged,
but also so much wrong was done upon me, and I saw so much anger in the world. It was all me, but I opposed it on everybody around me. But yeah, the victim role is it's an identity. It's something you can identify with, and it gives you you are something. You're a victim, and it gives attention in some way, and it can be where you feel safe, and it can be a very strong pattern, and so many convictions on top of each other that it's hard to get someone out of that, to break through by yourself, or even with help, with someone helping you to break through. It's a sad, it's not sad, it's just such a shame if you see the potential in someone and the beauty in someone, and you just see them believing all these stories that keep them small, because it's also keeping them small, and it's also you give all your power away. It makes you powerless and scared and mad, and it's not a nice place to be.
No, you know what you're talking about.
I do.
You've been there.
Yes, and I was. If someone tried to tell me about their misery, I had more.
Yeah.
And I was usually right. I've been through a lot. It's been terrible, but it didn't help me. I won the "I'm so sad" story everywhere, and I was sad, So, yeah. But I had that. That's what I had, That's what made me something, at least. Yeah. I failed on so many levels, but I was very good at. I survived all these terrible things. So there must be something good about me.
Yeah. Do you also talk to people one-on-one about this? Do people come to you with maybe the same problems you had?
Yeah. I forgot to tell you, even after the last interview, some new people.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
Very beautiful. Yeah. Good matches. Yeah, I do.
And is it for you more difficult to talk to men than to women, or are those issues universal?
Universal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Women don't have different issues than men?
Oh, I don't know. That's a very deep question. It's I don't know. I'd have to think of something real quick, but I'd have to.
I don't know how it is to be a woman. You don't know how it is to be a man.
No.
But yeah, I can imagine that the more deep things are universal.
Yeah.
The insecurities, the stories.
The fear.
Fear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's mostly people who already know it's the stories that hurt them,
Mm-hmm.
who already believe in the concept of non-duality and are stuck somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
It still hurts. It still feels like still.
And what's the first thing you say to people?
It really, really varies, because it's I don't have a method.
Yeah.
I don't have one. I don't even have a vision, I think. I don't know. It's just they start talking, and then I filter the beliefs out of the story, the beliefs that hurt. And sometimes we examine them, and sometimes it's time for people to examine, and sometimes it's time for people to act. Then it's so obvious that they're stuck in philosophies, in
Dogmas,
yeah.
beliefs.
Sometimes people get stuck. They started out wanting to get rid of some fear, and they end up being sad because they're not enlightened. Just an example. Yeah, so that, you know, I filter where the suffering is.
Yeah.
And sometimes we go back to the childhood also to see where the pain once started, that they're still projecting, still seeing everywhere right now.
Yeah. So if I focus...
Forgiveness is a very, very strong tool.
Forgiveness?
Forgiveness, yeah.
But who do I have to forgive?
Yeah, if you see that, you're done. Yeah, if you see that, you're done, and then it's complete, yeah.
I talked to a Dutch teacher once before, and he says, forgiving is letting go of all hope for a better past. I thought that was a nice quote.
Yeah.
You still think that your past should have been otherwise than it was.
Yeah.
So I don't have to forgive my mother, my father. It is letting go of the belief that the story had to be different than it was. Or how does that forgiving work?
I don't know if it works that way. That's his thingy, and sounds nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what do you tell people? Do you have to specifically forgive people, persons, circumstances, or is that the first step? Or
I don't know. I don't have steps. I don't have steps. It's an intuition thing. It's listening and feeling and noticing where the pain is. But if you're still in pain when you see a picture of your mom yelling at you or whatever, then it can be really, really helpful to specifically forgive. I don't know, maybe what you just told, if you let go and you're able to forgive that whole past thing, you're done. I don't know, sounds great. Love to hear more about it. But the thing with forgiveness is that it really creates little miracles. Because when I talk about forgiveness, it's not even, some people say you do it for yourself.
Yeah.
And that's true. That's true. But I don't know how to explain it. But the bottom line is, I help people see that what the other person didn't have anything to do with them. Because that's where the convictions start. That's where the pain starts. Pain starts with things you believe about yourself.
You did something to me.
Yeah, you did something to me, and blaming someone else is also de macht buiten jezelf leggen. You give your power away also by blaming someone, and also the convictions start. If that person does that to me, I must be bad, or I must be so.
Self-hate.
Yeah.
He's right that he blames, or he did that to me. I'm such a fool.
Yeah. So by forgiving early on in your childhood, the people that are your daders.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good one. You have victims and you have
victims, and you have
the people who
that do it.
the people who do it. Yeah, the suspects, the usual suspects.
That's not it.
What's it called? Now we have to get the word. The daughters.
The prosecutor.
The wrongdoers.
No, it's not the prosecutor. The wrongdoers. No.
We know what we mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna find the
Cara,
word.
now I lost track of my story. I don't know what I was talking about.
Yeah.
But if you forgive the people that hurt you, and by forgiveness I mean seeing that they couldn't do it any differently, seeing that this has nothing to do with you, some deeply seated convictions can drop away. And that's when miracles happen, because these convictions, they form your...
the way you see
the way you see the world, and the way the world is perceived by you. So